We're live, we're live, we're live, we're live, we're live, we're live on all platforms. Yeah. We're live on all platforms. What's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? We're live on all platforms. Got me saying what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? 'Cause we're live on all platforms. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Let's do that. Let's do it. Let's do it like it ain't nothing to it. Red baby, what's up? Red baby, what's up? What's up, everybody? I'm multicasting today, broadcasting from. Well, y'all know I'm broadcasting from so many different places. Trying to see so many different faces. Yeah. We are live, man. And I got something to say. I got something to say. Ooh-wee. I got something to say. Ooh-wee. Yeah. What up, Sil? My sister in the building. Let's talk about it. Yeah. What up, Letitia? Yeah. So I thought we had gotten away from this, right? I thought we had gotten away from the Kanye West conversation, but clearly we have not. Clearly we have not gotten away from it, as you know, as we see what's popping off, man. What up, Millionaires? Yeah, I thought we got away from the conversation of Kanye West and what he's presenting, and I thought we could get away from it. I thought we really had an opportunity to venture off into other areas, man. But here we are again, based off of the Breakfast Club yesterday. Let me just run it back. It is 9:37 here on the East Coast. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. It's Tuesday, October 18th. It's gonna be a high of 51 degrees. I mean, it's kind of cold out there. It's 38 degrees right now. Y'all need a jacket. Woo! Y'all need a jacket out there, a hoodie. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely hoodie season. Hopefully you guys are representing and throwing your hoodies on so that y'all can, you know what I'm saying? So that you all can, weather this cold. I'm from Michigan originally, so I don't really, you know what I'm saying? The weather don't hit me as hard, you know what I'm saying? So I got that part. But listen, yeah, the heat should be on, man. But we're dealing with this Kanye West Nore situation this morning, you guys. Isn't it crazy? Millionaire said, not Miami, Brody. I know y'all heated and ready to go. What up, Sanquilla? I know y'all nice and toasty. I'm so mad. Look, I'm so mad. It's cold out. It's cold in Atlanta, man. I'm telling you.
It don't make no motherfucking sense.
Yeah, it's cold in Atlanta, bro. I'm trying to I'm trying to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? But it's gonna be good. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a good day. Because we're talking about Kanye West and Noriega. And really we're talking about it's bigger than both of them, right? What's going on in the industry right now. It's bigger than both of them. Make sure you guys are liking on TikTok and sharing the page immediately. We should have at least 10 shares on my TikTok. Good morning, it's cold in Philly. Had to turn my heat on today. Yeah, everybody breaking that little stank smell out. You know how the heat up for the first time and they got that little smell behind it. Everybody got that going on right now. But yeah, we about to get started, man. I want to have this conversation. I have made my apple cider vinegar for those who are going to be drinking it with me this morning. What up, Kaiki team, Icy Green, Brazil? I see you, brother. Those of you who are joining me on YouTube, make sure you guys hit the thumbs up. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all tap in so I know who's in the room with me. Nah, man, I'm not Jeff. You know what? It ain't about it's not about drama, and that's not the point of contention that I come to this conversation with. Actually, Jeff, you should share the room and invite 10 more people that you know so that they can also get on the same page and y'all can have it is not horrible for your kidneys. I love when people say stuff like that because it's just ill-informed right now, Jeff. Listen, if you understand how apple cider vinegar works, you know that you have to dilute it. And normally I would have the recipe up top so you would see it and understand better why apple cider vinegar is actually beneficial for your body. But it's not horrible for your kidneys. It's only horrible when you misuse it, when you abuse it, which is using too much apple cider vinegar. Yes, it will compromise your body. That's cool that you're a physician, but I'm just telling you how it works. You know what I'm saying? I know you have a way of doing and dealing with your clients, but you can't come in and tell me apple cider vinegar is bad for you when there's a list and a host of people who join this live who will tell you the benefits and how it's changed their lives for a positive measure. Usually I have the recipe up there so that you understand that apple cider vinegar, when diluted and used correctly, that it benefits the body. So Jeff, I've already announced to most of the people who join this room how it isn't beneficial for your teeth enamel, for your stomach lining, for your esophagus, but it's usually those people who try to take apple cider vinegar shots. It's usually those people who use too much apple cider vinegar. You know what I mean? And we've addressed that time and time again because there have been several people who have not consistently taken it. Yeah, we can agree to disagree. The people in the live, though, will tell you their experiences with their physicians and their results. And that's cool. But I like to address, the trolls. Look, if you don't have any trolls or you don't have people who challenge the narrative, it doesn't open up the conversation. So for those of you guys who are joining, there's a commenter on TikTok who is professing to be a physician who is challenging the benefits of. I didn't say you were. I just said there are people who have challenging. Some are trolls that when they come in, Jeff. I said that you are challenging the narrative, and you're good for the room. You're good for the conversation because people need to know 2 teaspoons, yep, per 8 ounces, yep. But you only need 8 ounces any more than that, and you're diluting it too much. Yeah, there are people who join the live and they have their narrative on how they think apple cider vinegar works, and I can appreciate that. But when there's so much evidence of its benefits, it's very hard to dispute that. You start coming off like the governor of California. Pearl kindly said my doctor was floored on the difference. She wanted to know what I was doing. I gave her the recipe. Wow, Pearl, that's what's up. I love hearing that. And it's one of those things, right? It's one of those things that some doctors prescribe to it and some doctors don't. And I'm cool with that. Yeah. Make it a great day. Stay blessed and vibe up. Jeff, you should stick around and listen, man. There are going to be many people who come in and give you the information. It is actually beneficial when diluted. You are correct. 25% apple cider. Thank you very much, Eli. And that's exactly the recipe. I'm using a different phone, so the photo that has that information. Let me see if I can find it right quick. It's buried deep into my photos on this particular phone because I usually use a different phone for broadcasting on TikTok for this purpose alone, because a lot of people don't know the recipe and a lot of people have been abusing it, and it has been harmful not only to their kidneys but to their stomach lining, not only to their teeth and their enamel, and not only to their esophagus, but it's a damaging. It's acidic. You know what I mean? So, those people who take those shots of it and try to drink it straight or whatnot, those people are harmed the most because they say to themselves, I'm gonna take it. There you go, Jeff. You can check it out right there, Jeff. There go the recipe. And I'm sorry, on Instagram, I can provide you guys with the recipe easier because I'm using the phone I use for TikTok. The only reason why I switched up is because one needs to, and I switched up on YouTube as well. 6, 7, there we go. On YouTube, on Instagram, everybody's set now. All my platforms, you guys can see the recipe. I've used this remedy for 3 weeks now. My doctor loves the changes I have that are all positive. MSN. Yeah, I keep telling people, like, you don't have to believe me, but you can listen to each other communicate about the results. You don't have to believe me. Eli said, I've had so many patients cause themselves to get gastric over that. Yeah, when they use the wrong recipe, I'm sure. Yeah, I don't know why people drink straight vinegar and compare the two. Like that's the misnomer that's out there, is that they think they're using it correctly, and when they damage themselves, they want to blame the apple cider vinegar. But it's not the apple cider vinegar; it's how you're using it. Good morning, Zena. Yeah. Oh, it's cold where you are too, Zena. Zena's like, yo, I need this furnace. You know what I mean? Turned on. But there's the recipe. up there for you so you guys can kind of see the recipe for whichever platform you're on. It's not a fad, Jeff. Actually, it's a lifestyle change. You know what I'm saying? This is not a diet. This is something that you do regularly in order to adjust your digestive tract and get your gut in great health. When used correctly with the, like I said, 8 ounces of water, you see the recipe above, 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar, which when people use it the other way, Jeff, they use 2 tablespoons, which is equivalent to 6 teaspoons, which is overloading your stomach, the reservoir you're trying to create in your stomach with acid. And that's not going to be beneficial for you. You want to make sure that you're using just enough to push. Jeff, please stop with the mismatch. I know, right? Eli hit you with the NPI. You know what I'm saying? He hit you with that. What up, Cassie? Yeah, good morning, Sue. So I just want y'all to understand that, there is going to be people who are on the other side of the fence, but they're going to be ill-informed on how it is supposed to work and how it benefits your body. And this is just another case of that. And we're okay with that. Yeah, Patrick. I mean, it works. Patrick on YouTube says, I use that also. Great recipe. Yeah. And Zena says they most likely you guys use it, people abuse it trying to speed the process. And when you think that it's a quick process, it's not. My doctor was so shocked with the blood pressure numbers, usually 130s. Oh, it was 122/70. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah. That's cool. Listen, if you go by a lot of those studies, Jeff, what you also realize, and I didn't want to get into this, but if you also realize, that the health books and as those manuals, you got to get a very old book. Hey, what up, Ara? Look, you got to get an old book to understand that medicine nowadays has been challenged and changed. So just like the governor of California, and I didn't really give him any airtime today, but the governor of California is an idiot. I'm gonna go on the record and just say that for anybody who lives in California who understands what I mean. He is an idiot. They're trying to pass a law, or they passed a law in California where doctors can't say what they're gonna deem misinformation or a conversation about COVID that doesn't coincide with what they think that the narrative should be on it. Now, if y'all don't understand it, when people take away the opportunity for you to have free speech and to freely communicate about what's going on, 1 lemon, 2 teaspoons of ACV and 2 teaspoons of raw local honey at the most. Yep. That part. Look, you know it all. We are into nutrients versus pharmaceuticals. Yeah, so the governor out there, and I really, y'all gotta, if y'all got friends and family in California, y'all need to tell them to stand up, you know what I mean, and not go for this bull crap. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you gotta, when it comes to medical journals, definitely have to look at how many are saying the same thing. They silence the people. Yeah, farmer control in Cali. California is rife with conflict now because they have been, he's trying to inundate a policy where you can't talk about, I cannot even pronounce nutraceuticals. I mean, that's what it is. I just didn't want to spend the time to pronunciate it. But they are out there in putting this on you guys where you guys you can't have a conversation about it. They said the doctors can't have a conversation about, any alternative medicines. So now I really hope that the people stand up and they start speaking on it more loudly and more clearly and start being activists in, out there. Zena said, I have been using and have lost dress sizes. Now, those are the metrics that we always talk about that I want y'all to think, to know that's important. Losing those sizes, you know what I'm saying? Losing those things are amazing. You know what I'm saying? That's what's amazing. And I know those are some metrics that everybody else is, everybody doesn't have a health metric to go by. They don't say, hey, my blood pressure dropped. They don't, those different things because, they're not dealing with those issues. But more importantly, the sizes of their clothes are fitting better. And Zena got those results in just 30 days. Consistency, y'all. Yeah, that's why we've been here. Look, matter of fact, in 2 days, we're going to have our 2-month anniversary. How about that, y'all? 2-month anniversary of being live and being able to have this conversation on a regular basis, being consistent, showing up and making sure that everybody stands in place to do their thing. That's what's going to be amazing. But man, if I had if I have to, Lena says I'm not a gym rat. Physically, I have to be careful how I work out, how long, but I've lost. That's what's up. Yeah, you got to take care of yourself. Y'all got to manage your body, you know what I'm saying? And this is a great way to do it from the inside out. So with that, you know what I mean? I want to make sure that as you guys are taking this, that you're documenting your recipe, you know, your journey. Yeah, Patrick, Zena's using the water, I'm sure. Patrick was like, yo, don't forget about 8 ounces of water. Hey, Cheryl, good morning. Listen, what I want y'all to understand is that, you know, Jeff, if you can, talk to Eli, and we want to know what your MPI is. Do you know what MPI is? Do you know what an MPI is? Yeah. And that's part 2, Red Baby. It's apple cider vinegar is natural. Gino said it helps me. You know what I mean? Like it helps so many, and it's discouraging. That the whole world doesn't know about that. But I think that this will be a conversation that will get banned out in California based off of the new policy that they're trying to inundate. Not the more water you drink, Sparkle. The recommended amount so that you dilute it just enough to where it's really effective. Anything more than that dilution becomes too much. You don't want to do that. You know what I mean? What's your national provider number? If he's a doctor, he will have one. Okay, yeah, we'll wait for that for the next communication from him. But, so, not to get derailed, our conversation this morning has so much to do with the you know, what's going on. It's crazy. And it's not MPI, it's N as in national. NPI, not MPI. I'm only correcting you because you wanted to correct me about me saying nutraceutical, but it's cool. Yeah, during the day, you absolutely you want to drink more throughout the day. Absolutely. I mean, and that's just regular. You know what I'm saying? Being that our bodies are comprised of so much water, we need to continue to do that. You know what I'm saying? You're absolutely right, Patrick. Patrick was like, because Zena had said the recipe: 1 lemon, 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar, and 2 teaspoons of raw local honey. Patrick was like, yo, don't forget to say that 8 ounces of water. You know what I'm saying? What up, Grandma? Diana, what do you mean you're exhausted all the time? Talk to me. No, he cool, Eli. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we got to have that, you know what I mean? But we definitely won't say that he's a physician until he proves it. So we just have you know, it's a person in the room, slightly trolling a little bit, but it's all good. But yeah, so when you guys are saying this recipe, it is necessary to kind of break the whole thing down, because we can't have people out there using part of it. And I know Zena, you know, Zena was probably like, yo, it's understood that you use 8 ounces of water. But for those who don't, 8 ounces of water, 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar, and 1 freshly squeezed lemon with 1 to 2 teaspoons of raw local honey for the taste and for your immune system and for allergies. And if you guys have any more questions, you can type it in the chat. Make sure you guys are sharing the room. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button. I've got a daily goal that's up. And if you haven't subscribed now, no time like the present to do so. And you can add ginger, you can add garlic, you can add turmeric, you can add cayenne pepper, which some people do for their metabolism. There's several different ways you can remix it, but I just wanted to introduce the basics for you. I just wanted to get you started to use like the bottom line. These are the things that you can have that are going to change the direction for your digestive and gut health, and then you can remix it from there. I appreciate that, Eli, who said I got beautiful eye. I appreciate that, man. You know, when you guys are in the live and I don't mute people. I know everybody, you know, some people want me to mute the young guy who was here communicating, but I don't mute people, because there's a lesson to be learned even in the process of misinformation. So, and that kind of segues into this conversation about Kanye West. I'm drinking mine room temperature today, love, because I didn't pre-make it. But if you were to pre-make it, you're going to make it and you're going to store it in your refrigerator. Take it out the morning, you're going to use it, kind of let it sit for a minute so it cools down, so it warms up, I'm sorry, and then drink it, and it goes down really nicely. I'll probably spend tomorrow or one of these days and pre-make it so you can see how I pre-make it, measure it, and all those kind of things. No, these aren't contacts, Beltry. And Drink it all at once, user. Just take it to the head. Like I drink this straight to the head. I'm about to drink it at 10 o'clock, 6 minutes. I'm gonna drink this. This is it's 8 ounces of water, 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar, 1 freshly squeezed lemon, and raw honey to taste. Now think about this. This is about 13, 14 ounces total. If we go first thing in the morning, do we take it after? Yes, absolutely. Yep, Red Baby's correct. Just try the basics first, though, y'all. I love the fact that there are different ways that you could do it and remix it, but just like anything else, right? When you're working out, you work out on a certain muscle group, and you work that muscle group along with maybe a couple others, and you do these exercises to see results. And as you see results, you can add other things to it. I know, I know, Eli. Yeah, did you, Key? That's what's up, man. I mean, I think you do anything you can to kind of to expedite the process. For me, with the way that I make it now, I can tell you I can make it within 2 minutes. It does not take long to do this, you guys. Listen, you're literally doing this. You're pouring water to up to 8 ounces. Hopefully you get a measuring cup or some kind of cup to measure the amount. You pour 8 ounces. Then you, the second thing I do is I shake the vinegar because sometimes the mother rests at the bottom. Shake it up, and then you put 2 teaspoons. That's going to be the littlest spoon outside of the, you got 2 main spoons. You have a tablespoon and a teaspoon. Take the teaspoon, do 2 right quick in there, boom, stir it up. Then after you do that, you cut your lemon. Now you can roll your lemon in order to get the juices really going, but over the top of the container where I'm going to juice it at, I typically cut there because the juice drops down there. I'd be hating to waste any drops. So once I do that, then I squeeze the lemons, and that turns out to be about 4 ounces. If not, you kind of want to get 4 ounces out of it. Once you squeeze it and get the 4 ounces out of it, you pour that in there, and you can drink it like that. Now, surprisingly to me, there were several of my champions that drink that like that. I was like,
It don't make no
it
don't make no motherfucking sense.
I mean, I had to drink it out when I was in Las Vegas this past weekend. I had to drink it without honey because I traveled without my raw local honey, and it made me ill. I was like, ugh. But it's all good. It's not time consuming, Key. You just gotta, once you start doing it on a regular basis, you start time yourself. I promise you can get this done in 2 minutes or 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes tops. Yep, drank it this morning with no honey, but added cayenne. Woo, Latanya, you are a gangster. Please pray I entered into a 2K this weekend. God is gonna give me, you're gonna be fine, man. You're gonna be fine. You got this. Can you use regular lemon juice in the bottle? Why would you use regular lemon juice, E. Jackson, if you could use fresh lemon juice? That's all I want to make sure that y'all keep in your mind. Fresh, fresh, fresh. Keep it funky and fresh. Yeah. Can you do that for me? Can you keep it funky and fresh? Let me hear you say, yeah. All right, that's what we doing then, okay? You can do that. Yeah, you could do that, Pearl. But again, all right, Cookie, I'm drinking mine in like 2 minutes, so hopefully you'll be ready. I understand. Yeah, you can substitute it in the absence of another, but I wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? That wouldn't be the total route I would go. Yo, if y'all are not following me, make sure you follow me now. Turn on notifications to always and follow me on my other platforms. Instagram and YouTube are connected. Make sure you share the room. Hit the share button, you know what I'm saying? Make sure you're sharing the room. If you want to, you can, there's a live goal up top with the with the roses. You can gift there, or you can hit my Cash App up and bless me today with the info at TRX is now on Cash App, which is always dope. About to make mine now. Okay, I'll wait till 10:05. I'll wait till 10:05 for those people who are making theirs now. 10:05, I'll wait and we'll drink it together. We'll cheers, we'll toast. But make sure y'all are sharing the room and liking the room on YouTube and on what's the name? Y'all can do it too. Okay, so shoot, Zena is all the way tight. She said I'm taking cayenne pills, cinnamon, and turmeric. That's what's up. She getting all the way right. Yep, you can prep it, like have bottles made. Yep. But you can't store them at room temperature. You have to put them in the refrigerator and then take them out the day you want to drink them. Let them cool a little bit, because sometimes because you want to take it to the head, you don't want to have it too cold, too hot, or any of those kind of things. That's why we don't heat it up. You know what I'm talking about, Vern? You know what I mean, Vern? So yeah. So I want to dial it back. I think we were about to segue into this Kanye West conversation and the Nore thing. I don't know if any of you guys have seen it. They have since removed the interview with Kanye West where he was speaking about the George Floyd situation, that there were other factors into the death of George Floyd. He spoke on the NOI and a couple different of the fashions that are out in that you see readily out in New York that are preaching on the street corners or whatnot. He spoke on a bunch of different things. He spoke on the controlling faction of society in terms of the Jewish community, and apparently Nore's show got a lot of feedback. Got a lot. Actually, he might be getting sued by the George Floyd family. But the challenge I have is there's so much truth in this that y'all do understand this, right? When people say things, they don't get ridiculed for lying. They get ridiculed for telling the truth. Y'all do understand that, right? You don't get reprimanded for lying. People just say, it's a lie, let it ride. But when you're telling the truth, when you're putting that truth out there, and he's at such a high level of visibility, people don't want that truth out on the front lines. And that, for me, that's where y'all got to look at this. I need to curve y'all narrative. I need to curve the way y'all think about this. Make sure y'all share this conversation, because a lot of people need to hear this, because so many people are ridiculing Kanye. So many people are dismissing Kanye. So many people are calling him crazy. And I need y'all to understand that that's not how crazy works. That's not how crazy is received. You know what I'm saying? It's always these smaller groups that get butthurt when someone's telling the truth about them. He said nothing but facts about a lot of these different people who are feeling some kind of way, that are all in their feelings right now. And when we have those truth tellers like that, when we have those people who are sticking their necks out on the line, nobody likes hearing it, Yanni, especially other communities. Like, he actually is saying things that we all need to hear and think about. He's been doing that. At the risk of his career and his livelihood. And that's the other part that challenges me when it comes to people looking at his situation. So many people want to say that, he don't speak for me and speak that. He actually does. No matter whether, I know some of y'all like, I'm not Republican, Democrat. It ain't even a political thing. It's can you recognize this nonsense when it's happening? And if you can, what are you going to do? Yeah, he got a different perspective, Ara, and it needs to be discussed. Like, he needs to be supported. But instead, our community, and this is what is so disheartening about Nore at this point. Nore has a platform. And then if y'all watch The Breakfast Club, it just shook me to the core that Charlemagne the God was on there just parading and saluting this whole situation the way he was doing it. And I usually Charlemagne is always known to be somewhat controversial, but the way that they went at this, and The Breakfast Club, listen, they chose to air the part where they were saying the N-word and all that kind of stuff. And then when it came to speaking on the Jewish community, they would not play it, or they muted that part. And that's the stuff that Kanye West was actually talking about. That's the exact thing he was saying. He was like, look, the balance is off, and there's a community out there who is moving behind the scenes. If y'all don't understand, there's a community of people who are pulling the strings on just about everything out there. And when you bring that to light, and I was speaking with a buddy of mine last night. Paycheck was on the line with me. Shout out to Paycheck. He was in the room earlier, but he's going viral right now, and I can appreciate that. He's got like 7.9 million views on his song. So if y'all get a chance, follow Paycheck and go check it out and support and share it. But we were having that conversation about, there's a community of people who are moving in silence, and when you put the light on those people, that's what it is right there. Mental said it best. Look at who you can't offend, and that's who's in control. Now y'all understand. The same community that shut Nick Cannon down. You're absolutely right. And it's funny, I was with Nick this past weekend. We're gonna try to do something really dope. And lady, you're right. She said the Jewish community owns all networks, and that's why. And I had a conversation with him, and I posted this on Whack 100. He posted a comment, and I posted on his. I said, what needs to happen is what Kanye West is trying to do now. He's trying to start his own network. He's trying to start his own. And I said this about a year and a half ago on Clubhouse. I said, there's no sense in communicating when we don't have the ability to control the conversation. We don't have the ability to control the conversation. Everything that I'm broadcasting on right now, I'm broadcasting like 8, 9 different networks that can all shut me down in a heartbeat, and y'all will never hear from me on these platforms under this name because they have that kind of control. They have the ability to change the narrative at the heartbeat. It's the feeling he has when he comes to releasing the info we don't know. Maybe, and that's what I said. Patrick, listen, Patrick on YouTube just said, it's the feeling he has when it comes to releasing the info we don't know. Maybe the George Floyd comment was inappropriate. It wasn't, Patrick, and I'm gonna tell you why. I put this out there for everybody to understand. As you get more successful, anybody in here who has transitioned from a bus boy to the wait staff, to the cook, or to the manager, you understand that you get new information. That is right, Seal. That's how and why they silenced and shut Bill Cosby down, because he wanted to start a network that represented the people and left the control of the narrative out. Y'all, listen, man. When you get to a certain level, you get a certain level of clearance. Y'all got to understand, billionaires ain't talking about what we talking about. Billionaires are privy to that inside conversation that we don't get. As you grow in whatever profession you grow in, you get better and deeper conversations that the aha button goes off. Listen, before I toured with Usher, I didn't know how the inner workings of that whole industry worked that way. Like, I knew from a publishing side, and the deeper I got into publishing, the more I knew how to maneuver and knew how to dance with it and get what I needed out of it and to be able to advise others. But the longer you're in, the more you're given, the more access you have. Kanye West is having a conversation that is above our level of understanding, and he's trying to give it to us in a way that we can be activated. He ain't sitting around talking to this dude he's spoken with Trump. What are you saying? And Trump spilled his guts. Trump is probably the main one that had been saying, no, this is what's going on, this is what's going on, this is what's going on. I'm gonna break down something, and I did this on a comment I left on YouTube on another person's thing. I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna start from parts of what he's talking about. Let's start with the George Floyd stuff. Let's start from the very beginning of this. Y'all do know the police came and George Floyd was in his car when they arrested him. So that means that George Floyd would have had to have gone into the store, did whatever he did with this fake money or whatever the case was, went outside, waited for the police to get there because he could have left. He wasn't detained. Nobody from the store was outside. Nobody was holding him hostage. He wasn't detained. That's the first red flag for me. And I went through this. Listen, y'all don't understand. I went through watching these videos and I went through everything. I'm a person who's from the school. Does that make sense? So he's there. He goes and he gets arrested outside. If y'all watch it, he gets arrested outside. When he gets arrested, there are 2 cop cars right there, same street facing that way. The store is over here to the right. It's a cop car that pulled up behind him and already there on the other side of the street. Why didn't he get put in one of those cars? Easy to take him out of that car, check him, do everything, and put him into one of those vehicle cars, one of those cop cars. But they didn't. They actually walked him across traffic, across the street, and then they put him in the car. Let's talk about this for a minute. How many of you have ever seen somebody get arrested? So there's no reason to remove him from the car. So that's the red flag number 2. Red flag number 3 is they actually remove him from the car. For what? Why would you remove this man from the car? There's no point. And then put him right next to the car on the ground he's not kicking and screaming, so there's no reason to hold his feet. He ain't humping the ground, so there's no reason to put your knee on his butt or back or any of that. And then his knee wasn't on his neck, it was on the top part of his shoulders. Now, even for that to be what it was, you already are under the impression that George Floyd was on something. And you can tell that just by his behavior and demeanor. There was something else going on with him in that whole process. But nothing that should have went from one section of the street to the whole other. They just don't do that. Like, I've not seen that. And then take him out of the car and then put him on the ground. Now, let's go here. He's on the ground. There are 8 to 9 people watching this. Not one of them intervenes in a way that would have made George, the police officer, just raise his leg up. Nothing that, you know what I mean? Yeah, Demarion, we are, and they're not stupid comments. Stupid is, we use words like stupid and crazy when it's not at our level of understanding, Demarion. So I'm breaking it down so y'all can understand a little better about where that's coming from, because y'all do realize after this event, right, what y'all had to know was, and I'm calling the George Floyd thing an event. It was so visceral and viral, it made no sense. Now, let me go back to the part after he does the knee thing. He's still breathing while he's on the floor. What up, Tashi? He's still breathing. Everything is going how it should be if somebody put their knee on your back for most healthy people. You know what I mean? After that, I don't agree with that, Myron, but we'll get into that too. So as that is going on, the paramedics arrive. Now, if y'all ever watch those videos, these paramedics come and they are armed. I've not seen armed paramedics ever pick anybody up. I know. I've never seen armed paramedics on site for anything, ever. There wasn't a riot. There didn't need to be crowd control. You had one Asian man there controlling the crowd, which he looked like he was in the most uncomfortable police outfit ever. But go past that, these guys armed, pick him up. Y'all do know he was alive when he was in the ambulance. No, man. Listen, he was alive when they put him in the ambulance. Y'all do realize that, because they made a phone call and said, we're transporting one. He's I don't know if they say he was unconscious, but he was alive. And that's why you're hearing Kanye have this conversation about the drugs that were either administered to him or on him. So let's go one step past that. Why is the nation, and by the way, if you're not following me, follow me now. Turn on notifications to always. You know what I mean? Follow me now. And listen, the trial don't mean nothing if everybody in on it, Myron. Listen, Myron, you're still talking about the visual aspect that we have no control over, that they have control over. They're able to show you all this from the narrative. Did you know that the camera angles that they showed you from the George Floyd incident never changed? It was just one main camera view. They didn't show you, and they stopped people. You should have seen it. It was the dumbest thing ever. And that's why I'm looking at people like, I don't understand why you're not, the simple logic isn't taking place. Myron, they had 3 funerals for this deadbeat. 3 funerals. Martin Luther King didn't have 3. Malcolm X didn't have 3. This dude who got accused of a $20 heist and was on drugs got 3 funerals, all closed caskets. Man, you must be out of your mind if you don't understand, if you can't see that. 3 funerals, all closed caskets. Man, you don't hear me. This is all that was happening. Yeah, it was a setup. It was a setup. You can call me what you want, bro, but I'm a truth teller, bro. And if you can't handle the truth, Myron, that's on you. Names won't get you anywhere. If you want to have the conversation, Myron, I'm up for the dialogue, but I don't think you were present when this whole thing was going down. Period. Yeah. Listen, I've been arrested before. I've had that knee on my back and on my neck and all that. I've had all that. I ain't never thought about dying. Because, Purple, who's in those caskets if the caskets are closed? And why does this man get 3 funerals? You feel me? 3 funerals. Where's that happen at? That's right, crazy. I've never seen an armed EMT in my life until I watched this George Floyd situation. As far as detoxing your kidney itself, I can't help you with that. I know that this drink does help with that, but not directly. Listen, exactly, Jamari. I'm like, yo, this conversation is for those who get it. And I can't talk about the Whitney situation because it's too close to me, Everett. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't deep dive into Whitney's situation because there was already some things happening there. Like, there were some things on the record with Whitney that challenged anybody really doing any deep research. You know what I mean? Yeah, Butterfly, I understand that nobody wants to hear this because it requires you to have to change. Just JJ, just being healthier and drinking this will help as well. But just I know it's hard, but you got to maintain resting enough, and then keeping your body up. The casket's meant to keep your soul reincarnated if you're buried in the ground. What I'm saying to you is, they usually do a lot of viewing when you're in a casket. Like the casket is open so you can see the body. The only time they don't do open caskets is when something has happened that they couldn't repair with a person's look. Like if something happens to your face, you know what I'm saying? Like that, you know what I mean? I appreciate you, Joy. So that's why they have closed caskets. Nothing happened to his face. He should have had an open casket at every viewing that they had. Why? So that you could see that it's him in the body. I mean, him in the casket. Only time that they don't open the casket for viewing, which they had 3 viewings, meaning they had people line up. Y'all remember in each of those places, they had people line up to go view him. And then what's the public outcry for? Why was burning the car wreck and his casket was closed? That's what they do, Butterfly. When it's unrepairable, usually the face. If the face is unrepairable through the funeral home, they will do a closed casket. You know what I'm saying? You can choose. Yeah, you can choose. But why would you, Mr. Don't Play, when he became such a symbolic figure for this march and for this movement that they so-called had, this Black Lives Matter movement? That's why I don't even understand why anybody's arguing about that, because it's already starting to come out that the Black Lives movement was funded by somebody who was putting this narrative out there in this. Yeah, I know I did that on purpose, Icy. So yep, if your body is mangled or face, yep, they want to do that. And so that's how it goes. And Myron, listen, I'm gonna have to. I don't even mute people, Myron, but I don't do the name calling on my live, and no one in this live is gonna appreciate you using that language in the live. That's the only time I'll do it, and it's really the strongest leak. The weakest one is the one who's using name callings, bro. You pick another word to call. But that's the thing. You know what I'm saying? If y'all don't understand that there's a narrative being put in place to set things in motion, that's on you, and you can live your life how you want to. And I've dealt with people like you more than you've dealt with people like me, clearly, because if you understood, your narrative would have changed. You know what I'm saying? And that would have been the way that you would have moved forward in life. But clearly, you got to go now, Myron. Only because when people like that communicate and start name calling and not using words, it shows his level of maturity, and he can't go to the next floor. And that's why when people attack people by calling them names like that young man just was, is because they can't articulate. I did block him. I went ahead and blocked him. And y'all know in the culture in this room, I don't really block people because I let people make a fool of themselves. But the fact that he was now just calling names, that's not cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't support that on any level. And that's why I did that. Most times, funeral home will try to make repairs so the person, will look at peace. And that's what everybody wanted to do. They wanted to say that if Malcolm X can have an open casket, if Martin Luther King can have an open casket, how is this dude gonna have a closed casket? You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm trying to say. You know what I'm saying? Everett, a lot of those movies are depicting a narrative that they want to push, that have these underlying meanings because they're talking to their community. If y'all don't understand that, these people, this faction that we live in as Black people in America, as a whole human race in America, we're all in it together. Some people think they are above it, which, we think that there's a level to things in this country. We think that there's, white people are at the top. What up, DJ Dub? And then Black people are next, and then Asian and Hispanic next. We think there's a hierarchy, right? The hierarchy is those people that are on the very top that are pulling the strings on everybody, making us fight with one another. They're making us fight with one another about positioning, and they want us to fight about, the crumbs that they leave when in comparison to what they're doing, comparison to those people who are really shape-shifting, someone who's standing out there. I've texted and typed and I've communicated that we failed Colin Kaepernick. We failed Chris Dorn. We're about to fail Kanye West because we're calling them crazy and dismissing them. And that can't be the position that we hold for those people. We can't keep saying these people who are sticking their necks out that are at another level of understanding, these people who are saying, I can't continue along the way that we've been going because it leads to no ending. Not a happy one, not an amicable one, not one that we can be appreciative of. And yeah, it started with, maybe it started with Kanye West on some capitalism stuff. Maybe it started with his fashion. Maybe it started with his clothing or whatever. But wherever it started at, I'm glad. You know what I mean? I know he was CC because all he could think about was CC on TikTok said Nore was shook the first time Ye mentioned Jewish people. And that's because they're the untouchables in this country. They've positioned themselves in a place where please don't say nothing about us because we're doing things that we want to do the way we want to do it and nobody's crying about it. And when you do say something about it, that's when it becomes an issue. That's the only times it's an issue. They don't want the truth. Yep. Sil, my sister said, when we don't understand the rhetoric, we call it crazy. We start dismissing our own people. Y'all do know they said Martin Luther King was crazy, right? And Martin Luther King went back on what he said to correct himself, saying that, I'm sorry, y'all. I was saying and leading us down the wrong road. That's what's up, Zaza. There's a lot there. It goes super deep than that. You know what I'm saying? Letitia says, I hate missing. I'm in and out going to have to go back and watch later. Yep. So this replay of this conversation will be live on my YouTube channel for anybody who missed it. Even the trolling part from the one guy. I just heard the story. Martin Luther King's in the hospital about it. Yep. Listen. So I didn't want to go there, Demarion, but I talked to my boy about that yesterday. He didn't even know that. Most of y'all did not know Martin Luther King did not die on that balcony. I don't know if y'all knew that or not. Martin Luther King did not die on a balcony. He died in the hospital and the doctors refused to treat him. Y'all do understand that? If y'all don't understand that, the FBI, yep, they suffocated him. Y'all do understand, like... Y'all do understand it's bigger than this. Like, it's bigger than that. But we got people who stand out in front for all of us. Would I stand out with Kanye? Absolutely. Why? Because I know where he's at and what he's willing to do. He's risking it all right now. And we're allowing him to do that, and we're making him feel hella unsupported. Can y'all imagine what that feels like? If and it's one of those things. I heard this saying a long time ago. They said if Jesus Christ himself came down, if God showed up, you wouldn't even believe he was God. You would tell God he'd have to perform a miracle in order for you to believe him. How, come on, man. I know, Demarion, and it's not for everybody to agree with Kanye West. I'm looking at where his perspective comes from. You have to understand that there's some people, it's a word called privilege, and it's different. Y'all know white people have a different conversation. Wealthy white people have a different conversation than wealthy black folks. But if you get them all in the same room, some people will have a conversation with you that will enlighten you on some things that you probably weren't privy to. You can be a fly on the, when you have access, you could be a fly on the wall to conversations you never ever thought of or never knew existed that were going on. Y'all do understand these conversations that we're having right now go on every day at a higher level. Do you know there's somebody talking about how to undermine Kanye West right now? Like, these conversations are happening, whether you want to agree with it or not, is pointless for all of us. It don't matter to us. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter whether we agree or disagree. What I agree with is what I see, and he is not insensitive to other people's pain, melanin. What he's stating is what is actually, a lot of his statements have to be forward facing. He can't sugarcoat this stuff because sugarcoating it doesn't lend itself to the adjustment. It comes off weak. It comes off unsure. You know what I'm saying? I know him as a person, Red, but I don't know him super like that. But I know Kanye. Kanye West opened for Ush, and he toured with us for about at least 8 to 10 months, and he's cool. He wasn't as outspoken then. He's become. Again, y'all have to realize, look, he's always been a person who has commanded attention. and have pushed people to do right by him. If you don't hear somebody say these things, if you're not privy to these conversations, and there's somebody, let me help you understand. He's bringing a conversation to the table that you and I don't think about regularly, but he does, because those people and those things affect him more directly. No, I'm not saying because he says it makes it not the truth. What I'm telling you is he's giving you information that you haven't had that is logical. That's exactly right, Free Spirit. They don't understand because he's in a different world from regular citizens. Yep. No, I'm not saying that, Red. I'm saying that I just said that. I said I know him, but I don't know him like that. But what I have known is how he's adjusted his position over time. And y'all have to understand that has a reason. Truth has no friends. Truth has the hardest time having friends because everybody wants something different. Everybody's challenging that narrative. Everybody's challenging that truth. My sister said, levels of wealth provide different levels of enlightenment of information. I don't know why that's hard for anybody in here to grasp, because one day you were a student on the outside of whatever job and position you had, and you thought one thing, and then the other thing, once you joined whatever position you got the truth. People think the music industry is one thing on the outside. Y'all have no idea until you join it, and y'all hear horror stories, but y'all don't also hear how people have finessed the music game. Y'all don't get to hear those parts because the music business doesn't want y'all to know or hear how to move through it. That's society in a whole. People who are in power positions don't want you to hear the information that can grant you access. I told you, I mentioned the George Floyd incident, He's trying to help y'all understand that when Trump said don't listen to fake news, y'all are realizing that a lot of it was fake news now. Even with, like I said, the governor of California spewing what he's spewing. They are, Prince was trying to school him long ago. They are creating the narrative. Jeremy Turpin says, Team Ye, other than the Floyd comment, he was right. Again, when you examine the Floyd conversation, then you start getting it. Like you have to really be. The only reason why I can speak on the George Floyd situation, I was on top of it when it was happening, and I told y'all, and I tell every last one of y'all to this day, I am not marching with anybody. I don't know what they're willing to do. I'm not marching with nobody who's not willing to do what I have to do to protect myself and my family. So if I'm out there marching and you ain't strapped, you ain't got on a vest, you ain't got on eyeglass wear for the those rubber bullets, if you ain't got a shield, if you ain't got protective things that can protect me, should I have to go out and on the front lines for you, you are tripping, because they are all prepared to do that. I am one of those people who believes in meeting aggression with aggression. I am sorry. If you're going to show up like you showing up, I'm going to show up with just as much as you showing up, and then it's going to be about ability. What you're willing to do versus what I'm willing to do. Because you're going to do it because somebody else told you to do it. But if I'm marching out there, I'm marching for survival. Now, who you think is going to win that fight? Yep. I said that, Everett. I was like, yo, anybody I'm standing next to, I'm going to have to know some history on you, and I'm going to have to know you're going to go buck wild when I go buck wild. Because other than that, it's pointless. I'm listening people you think are cool slip up and say things that when they are around their level. Exactly. When you are around, I've been privy to conversations. Listen, when I'm hanging out with Ush and we got all these other people around there on these next levels, man, I'm hearing stuff I've been in the music game for a minute. I'm hearing new information. I'm hearing new perspectives. And so when I hear that, when I speak to the kids and the people I'm managing, or I'm speaking to these other artists, now I can talk to them from a level that's more enlightening for them and gives them a quicker path to success. So when we talk about Kanye West, who is outspoken, he attracts other people like that. Because he can't do it that way, MTT. Like, you do understand that the shortest path to anything is a straight line. He can't curve and go around and teach, because they're going to do exactly what they're doing right now. They're going to say that his conversation has no merit. They're going to say that his conversation is invalid. But they said that about Donald Trump. And to Red Baby's point, they don't always get it right in communication. And that's when you have to stop and think, well, where were they going with that? What did they mean? Like when Donald Trump said hydrochloroquine worked. people did dismiss that because he said it along with a bunch of other rhetoric. But when I went to look up hydrochloroquine, guess what? Hydrochloroquine cured, listen to me, hydrochloroquine cured 4 of the 5 components of that pandemic bullcrap. Did y'all know that? So that your body at this point, if you taking hydrochloroquine at 0.01 ILs, it would cure it. It wouldn't mitigate it. It would cure the effects. So of 4 of the components. So if it cured 4 and you only had to deal with 1, the only one that you would be dealing with would be the aspect of the man-made element of it. Just so y'all understand.
That's what I found.
So just so y'all understand, it'd be the man-made element of it that you'd be using. Yeah, exactly, Mr. PC. He says, I'm Nigerian. It works. We use it over here, especially during 2020 and 2021. And I was telling people, I said, again, if y'all don't do the research, that's on y'all. But that's why I'm here as well, is because I'm not afraid to go do it. And I did it during that time because y'all don't understand. I lost friends during that time, as far as not through death. I lost friends from not listening to the information. I know, right, Tashi? I looked into that too. COVID gives autoimmune symptoms that are treated by that medication. Exactly right, Red Fox. And so when I came back to the conversation, I don't know if any of you follow me on Clubhouse. I've since not been on there as much, but on Clubhouse, I accumulated over 50. I'm at about like 56,000 followers. And that's only because I pumped the brakes. If I had stayed on Clubhouse as much as I did before I wrote my book, I'd have 100,000 followers easily. But I got tired of the conversation and the misinformation that they hired people to get on Clubhouse. They hired doctors to get on there and refute the conversation that was freely being had by those of us who had done the research. And that's where this conversation comes in when we talk about apple cider vinegar. Those of us who do the research can have this conversation. You know what I mean? Tavis, it's not about detoxing the liver, because the liver detoxes itself. It helps with the lymphatic properties of the liver that help detox it. It's not a detox. The liver detoxes itself, Tavis. People have to stop and do you have to. And now more than ever, here's the real challenge. Y'all got to get into an actual library, because the information, I know it's so easy to hit Google search, but Google is rewriting it all the time. So when the pandemic first started, I went and I looked at how to treat it. It said treat it like the flu. A month to 2 months later, it had all this other information about how to deal with it. And then one of the most greatest misinformations was stay inside, don't exercise, don't do stuff. Like, that was the greatest. And I was like, this don't sound right. That's exactly right. Mr. PC said, they, Kanye West and Trump, say things at face value so that we can break it down. If you know type of thing. And that's what it is right now. Y'all understand that they will not. No, the whole United States could vote for Trump and they will not let him be president. Y'all do understand that. They will not let him be president again because he didn't listen to a lot of those things. I missed that one. Y'all have to understand that because Trump, he's not a criminal. But because he was outspoken, because he did things his way, and because he disseminated that information, he leaked things out there like that. That's what did it. There's a clip out there. If y'all ever, I don't know what to look it up and how to name it. Fraud and tax evasion is nothing, man. In comparison, at least, to all the other people who are doing that. Come on, man. You gonna do that to the president? Every president has done fraud and tax evasion. What are you talking about? Every president has been a criminal. What are y'all saying? Every president has been a criminal. When are y'all not gonna realize that? We can talk about Biden right now and his son. I'm not pro-Trump, Mr. Don't Play. Trust me, I'm not. I'm just pro-logic. But y'all do understand that milk thistle is good for the liver. Whoever asked about the liver, milk thistle. But do y'all do understand that when Biden was coming into presidency, we're talking about his son, right? How come Biden's son isn't being held accountable for what he did? Oh, because his father's in power and they got relationships that allow. Every last one of them presidents have been that way. What are you saying? Y'all do understand they're all in this together. I said to you that when we talk about Republicans and Democrats, I don't care for either one of them. They're the same. They're two wings on the same bird. Y'all are tripping. I didn't say Trump was better. I didn't say, I'm from the school of, I'm not rocking with Trump like that either on a whole, but I have to, no. He at least said he was a part of Epstein rings. He's the one who brought Epstein to justice. He was the one who was bringing all those pedophiles to justice, to court and trying to prosecute them. And that's another reason why he's on the way out. That's another reason why they're coming down on him. Y'all, I mean, if y'all don't do the work, I can't even, y'all have to do the work. That's all I'm gonna say. That's right, Petunia. I'm not rocking with either party. Zena, now to that point, Zena said Trump talked too much. I love that. The reason why is this. Trump is gonna be the last transparent president we ever have. I loved it. I love the fact that he was tweeting everything and saying everything because it gave us an opportunity to react. Like, people look at that as a bad thing. Globally and maybe nationally, yeah, it's bad for, it's bad on the grand scheme of things. But for us as a nation, we had never had that kind of transparency. We had never got to see or hear the conversations that were happening. You know what I'm saying? No, it was transparency. Listen, if y'all don't think tax evasion happens on that next level, man, come on, man. Y'all are playing games. Y'all are playing games, and y'all are just talking about the spokesperson of it all. Y'all do understand when it comes, he had to be a great deflector, Lady Avian. Had to be. Why? Because when you have everybody attacking you, meaning he wasn't on either side either. Y'all do remember he said, I'd have to become a Republican in order to be president. He said that on a show years ago. Yep. All right, Zena, good to have you as always. Y'all do understand that there are several people that are accused of doing more heinous crimes than the ones they're trying to levy against your former president. Yeah. Well, here, Cookie, is that he never wanted to talk about his taxes and maybe he has some crazy business practices. Connie, what's up, Connie? I don't defend his business practices, but I can tell you that there are so many. Nobody's talking about what's my man? The quarterback from Green Bay, the past quarterback from Green Bay. None of y'all have brought him up, but he stole money from the funding that they were giving out, the PPI loans. Nobody's talking about Brett Favre. Yeah, nobody's talking about Brett Favre. Why? Because Brett Favre can't affect the nation as a whole. Trump, on the other hand, galvanized the people, and he showed people like there's a community of people that are unheard, and I don't condone those. I think he did what he had to do to become president. He tapped into a marginalized community and jumped into the business. He jumped into the business, but he said, "I'm going to do it my way." And there was an instance where I was speaking about it before. There was an instant that I wanted y'all to see. There's a clip somewhere. I don't trust him either, Purple. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I trust him. Who's at my front door? Alexa, show me front door. I don't trust him either like that. But what I will tell you is I believe that he did more. I know y'all want to say that he didn't do what he did. Trump did more beneficial things than non-beneficial things. Period. If y'all think, here's a question for y'all. Do y'all think Biden was a better president? Do y'all think Biden is a better president? Let me poll everybody right now. Do y'all think Biden is a better president? Let's just go there. For all of you people, do y'all believe, I know, right? If y'all think Biden is a better president, y'all got to help me understand. Y'all, if y'all don't understand, listen, Trump did a ton of work. Now, I'll go to say he even did more work than Obama and Bush and Biden. Y'all do know that, right? Like, he did more than them. His pardons more than them, especially for black people. Like, y'all got to do the research. I'm gonna give y'all some of this, but I can't give y'all all of it because again, it's too much overload. Like, y'all emotionally, y'all want to be upset with him, but I'm not emotionally tied to Donald Trump. I'm not. But when I go back and I look at some of the information, when I go back and review the work, tell me something. Anybody on this live, tell me something they thought was beneficial that Obama did. Y'all, please tell me something that was beneficial that Obama did. I need to know, because I did the research and I'm trying to understand better. Can anybody on my live, on any of my streams, tell me what the most beneficial thing Obamacare was a trap, bro. Just so you know, it's a trap, Mr. Don't Play. And you're going to have to do the research on that, bro. And then you're going to be like, oh, that's what they was doing. Yeah. Yep. I'm trying to tell you, he put out a lot of pardons for the black community. True enough, AVN, but what we were discussing is people are trying to say one is worse than the other. And I'm just trying to tell you that if you can't identify when a person as visceral and as crazy and as if y'all want to call them racist, as y'all want to say, that's right, Cookie, forced you to have health insurance. Like, so for all those instances, like, you have to pay attention to the positive things that happen. You know what I'm saying? But that, I keep wanting to go back to this point. There's a thing out there that you can look at that shows that somebody was controlling Trump. Oh, it was the day he put FEMA at level 1. I was watching it live on TV when it happened, and I realized he was reading from the paper. And if anybody knows anything about Trump, he flies by the seat of his pants in those interviews. You know, he's just winging it, right? Not this interview. This interview, he was on script. Like, I was like, yo, somebody's pulling the strings, and he's making it obvious because he was reading. And you know, Trump will kind of summarize. He don't really do a whole bunch of verbatim. He went verbatim when he put FEMA at level 1. Now, I don't know if they're still at level 1, but they were at level 1, which, if y'all don't understand if y'all think the CIA or the FBI has power, FEMA has the greatest power over all of them. I don't know if y'all knew that. FEMA, if y'all want to be aware or afraid of one of these fashions, FEMA is the gangsters. FEMA is the real gangsters. You know how people kept saying they're spotting these places where, you know, these they were calling them camps. That when y'all saw those military vehicles on y'all highways traveling to certain places and all that kind of stuff, y'all like, ain't no military installation near me. Well, there you go. You start understanding that a lot of the positioning of all these things that we've been talking about have been, are 10 years ahead of us. So we're getting all the plans late. And I would be remiss to say that's what was cool about that whole situation with Trump, is that you got the information almost close to real time, enough to scream, shout, cause a fit, march, protest, do whatever you wanted to do. Yep. I mean, I'm seeing in the comments, you guys completely understand. Make sure you guys are sharing the live, hitting the like button, adding to the share goal or the live goal for the day. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel now, and that's on all platforms. If you want, on Instagram, y'all can buy badges. If you're on YouTube, you can super chat, super like. If you're on here, you can, like I said, buy gifts, or you can actually hit up the Cash App. Any of that kind of stuff is cool. But make sure you're contributing some kind of way, whether it's through social digital currency, actual currency, or just raising up your social currency in the room. Trump wasn't well-spoken, but was real. He did what he said. And that's the part that you have to appreciate, Capodanno, is that he wasn't he was what he was. He wasn't trying to fake the funk. Yeah, he was like, yeah, if it's up to me, I'm gonna keep my protocol. I'm not showing y'all my taxes. Half of my friends never show nobody their taxes. Why y'all asking me for my taxes? Half of the people in the Senate and on all these different places are hiding their taxes. If y'all don't understand that, he was just a visible representation of all those factions out there. He's no different than the Nancy Pelosi's. He's no different than the Mitch McConnells. He's no different than any of those people. They're just not on the front lines. They're just not out front. You know what I'm saying? They're just not out there. And they're not capable of that. That's why they pick these lower grade jobs. That's why they chose Senates and the House of Representatives and all that versus saying, most people couldn't be a president. Not because of qualifications, just because of the mental aptitude it takes to sit in a seat where everybody's going to throw stones at you, where there's an expectation for you to make the changes. But understand this, he doesn't have the power most of the time to make all the changes himself. If y'all talk about the way that they were blocking these ideas and things that people were trying to do, and when they got in office, all those promises, come on, man. And we got a president right now who's trying to pacify the hell out of you. All of a sudden, now he can take away student loan money. You could have been done that. All of a sudden, you can do this. All of a sudden, now we're doing this and taking credit for stuff. And we're in the worst position globally than we've ever been in. They say that if China and Russia and all these places, they say if all those places are wolves, then it takes a wolf to fight a wolf, don't it? It takes a bear to fight wolves. It takes an entity like that to come in and handle them. We don't have that right now. We got a sheep and is trying to deal with these situations, and he can't, and nobody respects that. And we need that dog back in this fight. We need that wolf facing these other wolves. We need that. Y'all don't care what y'all say, man. I don't know. There's not. Y'all understand that we had, for the first time in quite a while, a person who wasn't from political roots in office. They don't like that. They want somebody who's come up through the ranks, who made relationships and sold their souls out to each other. They want a person who was a senator in their state. They want a person who was a governor in their state. They want a person who they had those conversations with. Yep. They blamed Obama for not doing enough, but not realizing and understanding that his level of power was challenged. True story, but that's the narrative my sister said. That's the narrative that they wanted to put out there. Yeah, we'll make you a president. You'll be the first black president, but we ain't giving you no power. You know what the first black president would have did? He would have challenged the 13th Amendment and at least got that ratified. He would have changed that. How you gonna be the representation of a people that were marginalized and don't do anything to change those things that were pushed against us when we were coming up? What are you saying? What up, Eric? How is it possible? That's the one black gangster thing that I think we all expected him to do, is do something for the black people. That's all I'm saying. Lady said there's no way he could have pulled that off. I understand that, but the fact that it was never on the table, lady, because it was never in conversation, because it never came to the forefront, is killing me. You can use regular honey Catalan, but as far as the allergy effect, you need raw local honey. You'll be using yours for taste and some immunity boost. Yeah, I mean, well, here's the thing. We don't have a person in position, Capodanno, who can stand up to these other people, because that's never been his position. And I be wanting y'all to do the history on these people, man. Y'all know that. Do y'all remember this? This is how they played us. This is how they said. This is how they had to beat Trump. They had to stack the deck to beat Trump. They had to take two opposing people. Kamala and Biden do not like each other. That has never changed. But she saw it as a first opportunity to be the first. She wanted to go down in history. She's in history now. She's the first black vice president ever, first woman vice president, and first black vice president ever in the history. Yep, they all related, Tashi. We can't get into that. That's gonna drive people crazy. But the fact that she did that, do y'all understand that she blazed the brakes off of Biden when they were doing the debate? Do y'all know she spoke all truths about Biden when they were in the debate, and they all got forgiven for just one selling of your soul to become the VP? And then we as because you guys want to be Democrats so bad, because y'all don't want to look at the big picture, because you want to stand by your democratism, we forgave her for all the heinous stuff she did out in Cali. We forgave her, and we put them both together and said, we're taking the evil we don't know. I promise you, I was having conversations like that. And that's how I think. I'm sorry, I just think like that. I know y'all don't like it. I know y'all ain't gonna approve of it. But I'm just telling y'all, when I think that way, all I think is, I want to rewind the tape so y'all can understand where I'm coming from and just tell y'all.
It don't make no motherfucking sense.
That's what I think about when I say, how do these two people that we know would spit on each other? She was convicting black men, putting them in prison, and then when they found out that they were innocent, she would make them stay in prison even longer. So there were opportunities she had to pardon people, and she didn't. Like, you don't understand. If y'all want to know the truth, it's all documented. You can get online, go to YouTube and watch the debate. Watch the debate between Kamala and Biden and get all the facts you want, because they dug up all the dirt on each other. And we forgave them both. I'm trying to tell y'all, I was telling people, I'm going to ask y'all, which is more important to you? Which one do you think it makes the most difference? The evil you know or the evil you don't know? Which one should be scarier to you? And that's all I'm saying to y'all now. Yeah, we forgave him. We put him in office, Lacey. Yeah, man. I appreciate that, Cap, but I'm just trying to make a point. What up, Hope? We put those fools in office. We watched Biden and Kamala argue back and forth. We watched that. We watched them tell honest truths about each other that cut to the deepest part of their conversation. And then you saw what happened. Then when they figured out Trump was going to take this presidency once again, they said, "Oh, no, we got to do something." Same way they played Bernie with Clinton. The same way they played Bernie and got Bernie to get off of his thing and join them, and then he got squashed. I'm watching this stuff. If y'all are not watching and paying attention to this stuff, I'm going to give it to you. But, man, y'all got to tune in. Listen, make sure y'all are sharing this live. Make sure y'all hitting the like button. Make sure y'all are doing all that. You know what I'm saying? Please. That's right. Because, again, y'all do understand that the agenda works for everybody. The right side of all this conversation works for the left side. They just got to figure out how they're going to do it this year. How we going to do it this time. You know what I'm saying? What's the resolve, AP, right? Is you got to put somebody in position who's going to do the job. We had somebody who was doing the job. They were transparent. They put it all out there. They gave us a choice. We never had a choice. But it ain't about that, CC. It ain't about, don't choose somebody respectful. And she wasn't respectable like that. You got to, if you watch, CC, please go back and watch the interview. Go watch the debate. Please go watch the debate, and you're gonna take that respectable and qualified thing out off the what's the name? True story. Rubio said we are nothing but cattle to them, and that is what it is. I watched this interesting thing by Frank Zappa the other day, and Frank Zappa basically said that the education that we're getting here is so that you could be sheep. People go to school, and this is why y'all got to talk. You gotta talk to your kids. You gotta make specialists out of your kids. I'm sorry, the school system is not for your kids. And all the rhetoric that they're teaching. Trump, you was around. Crump, my dude, Crump Dog Love Guru. Trump was for America, not starting war or giving money away. Yep. Crump was around this whole time I was doing this. Like all the conversation I was having over the past 2 years and talking to people. Yes, and that's why. There is no difference. This for any white people out there, for any black people out there, any Spanish people out there, any red, yellow, whatever people out there, we're all in it together. As separate as we are all in it together. But we're moving like this. And no one thing, no one extremity is going to make the difference. No one extremity. Victoria, who else should be in jail? Who else should be in jail, Victoria? She said Trump should be in jail. When people say stuff like that to me, I say to you, well, R. Kelly is in jail and his accusers should be in jail with him too, but they are not. Now, is that justice? Not his accusers, but his accomplices. Is that justice? Is it justice for R. Kelly to be in jail, but not those people that were all on the TV show talking about they opened the doors for these little girls to go in, that they put the covers on top of them for them little girls to go in, that they bought the drinks for them little girls, they sent the cars to go pick up those little girls, they did all that little stuff for the little girls. Shouldn't they be in there too? Well, if you're saying that Trump should be in jail, then you want to say Trump should be in jail, the Senate should be in jail, the House of Representatives should be in jail, a whole bunch of stuff. All the accomplices. Thank you, Tashi. Most of the White House should be in jail. The only ones that are not in jail are the ones that ain't get caught and the ones that are snitching. So please, let's be mindful of the narrative that we put out there when we say Trump should be in jail. Well, I need all the names. Well, that's the part they're trying to do. Capadonna, let me tell you, they're so afraid of the way that the way that he held down his presidency. They're so mad at him about the way that we can't talk about Hillary because nobody wants to talk about that and her stuff overseas. They don't want to talk about that. I keep telling y'all, a majority of the people who have held political positions, none of them are clean. They just know how to finesse the system and they can finesse it from the inside and they have help from people who know how to do it. That's it. Who gonna turn first? Y'all seen Scandal? What are y'all talking about? Most of y'all watch that show. Where do you think they got the source information for that show from? True story, Jeremy. Y'all understand that there's a thing out there, man. There's a you know, y'all are funny, man. What up, Ush? Y'all got to understand that it's just, that we ain't coming into nothing new, and that's where let's dial it all the way back full circle. That's why Kanye West is necessary. Kanye West. This is if y'all don't understand how money works, money does certain things to people, right? For most people who get money and are educated and are passionate about life, it makes you outspoken. It makes you outspoken. So you have a person like Kanye West who's already outspoken. Now you're giving him not only access, but a platform. And he in his mind, he's saying, I need to and I want to save the world. I at least want to communicate these grievances I have with the world. What up, Strictly? Colin Kaepernick the exact same way. Hey, man, how can I be this successful? How can I live above average, but they're killing my people in the streets on a regular basis? I could shut up. But what kind of life would that be? What kind of legacy would I be living? When people say you were alive during that, what is going to be your position? Yeah, I was alive. I didn't do shit though. I didn't even talk about it. You know, they was messing with people who would talk about it. You know. Yeah, I was alive during that time, man, but I made some bad decisions. I did this, I did that. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. I'm sorry to hear that, Capadano, man. They, you know, the justice system is another machine. We can't even talk about that right now, but the disproportionate sentencing for people of color. I mean, those are all fashions to keep us separated. If we're not together, then we all can't do it. You know what I'm saying? And there's a gift and a curse to integration. There's a gift and a curse to it. When I look at nations like Brazil or Japan or, these nations that went Venezuela, when you see them protest, man, you see all of the country protesting. And it's because they're all looking at things from the same perspective. Y'all watch that stuff. Y'all see when these people overturn countries, it's because they are all in agreement. Yep, it's we the people. When you talk about Venezuela, all these different countries, man, as third world as they are first world when it comes to uniting. We're probably last. Because Russian people say Russia. Asian people say Asian. Man, we say American. And we ain't even together. Because all of us don't believe certain groups should be Americans. And that's where the problem starts. Yeah. Black history belongs in school. It absolutely does. But you see the fight that they're having trying to remove it because the sins of this country do not want to be put on display. Yep. We're probably one of the we're such a divided country. That's all. In Europe, if you go to Europe, it's not even about black and white and all those kind of things. It's more about what nation did you come from? What I'm saying? What's your nationality? Oh, I'm Sudan. I'm from the Sudan. Or I'm da-da-da-da. It's not, you're not presumed like black. They have a different kind of segregation over there. They don't want you to know that history though. And that's why they're trying to erase it. Like they don't speak about it, and then they don't want to own up to, to the injustices that they still benefit from today. In order to do that, they would have to give us reparations, which they don't want to do, which Obama didn't even bring to the table. Obama didn't speak on reparations. We put a black man in the seat, and he said nothing about reparations. We got a better chance at somebody as outspoken as Donald Trump to bring it to the table. If Donald Trump starts talking about, I promise you, if Donald Trump says during his campaign trail that he wants to give reparations, he can't do that because his demographic that got him voted is most of them are on the divisive side of life. Well, that's because a lot have been killed and incarcerated. Capadonna. And that's what we're dealing with, man. Like, and so Kanye West being outspoken, he's trying to say to us all, this is what's happened. This is what's happening. I can't even get into that, Capadonna. I mean, again, we've gone down this rabbit hole, Capadonna. And if I start opening up Planned Parenthood and having the conversation that Bill Gates' father was the father of Planned Parenthood, then and to help people understand why he's buying all the land up and why he's communicating, why he was an advocate for COVID and all those kind of things, I can't go down that line. I can't even go down that line. It wasn't even brought up. No, I don't think that's it. I don't think Obama did any of the heavy lifting, Victorious. And I've been waiting on somebody to name something. The only thing that came up was Obamacare, which was a trap. So you have to tell me something that there's no one thing that affected the people he represents when he walks out every day, when he walked out on his life. Yeah, Planned Parenthood is a whole nother thing. Population control has been a subject conversation for a long time. But I don't want to get into that because that ain't what Kanye West was on. And I just want to really focus on the Kanye Nore thing. I'm really kind of hurt by the fact that Nore went out publicly and started apologizing for the actions of one of his guests. We understand that that's how these shows are set up, and they don't really reflect the opinion of the show that they're on. But it's almost like he's apologizing for giving him a platform to be free thinking, to be free spoken. You know what I'm saying? Like that part is challenging for me. I know, Capadonna, we talk about Obamacare, but we don't talk about the fact that there are smaller countries with less money that have universal care, universal education. Should you want to do that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even want to talk about our country, can be set up better. What up, man with the voice? What up, Maurice? It can be set up better. And the fact that it isn't, I can only attribute. Now, here's the thing. And again, I don't want to talk from a divisive state, right? But the irony of it all is if people want to complain about the state of America, black people, brown people can wipe your hands and say I got nothing to do with it. Do I? That's one of the. I look at things in such a different way. When people say they're responsible, let them know you are responsible. You're responsible. You are responsible. If you're saying that black folks ain't had nothing to do with America, then you must be excited and happy with the state of America because we ain't had nothing to do with it, right? Come on, man. I don't see that as a viable thing, Capadonna, him running with Trump. I don't see that. I could see him holding a position under that administration, but nah, you don't want him that close to. I don't think anybody would go for that. And I couldn't tell you who would be a viable running mate. Trump would just pick somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? I think he just pick somebody. But y'all do understand that when people complain about the state of America, you should look at him as a person of color or anybody of color should be looking at him and saying, what are you talking about? He sure did, Victoria. And I would travel down that LGBTQ conversation with you, but we're going to have to do that on another live because it's such a, if you thought some things were divisive, what he did is hugely divisive. I'm sorry. That's a real big conversation you want to have. And I got to be prepared to have that conversation at another time so we can dive all in. We did have a conversation about the same-sex marriages and the relationships in terms of with kids and whatnot. And I think I handled that pretty well. And I was able to break down. One of the takeaways people were having is the fact that people want us to represent or recognize trans people, but I can't respect that as a viable position because there's no trans person out there that has the opposite of what they had. Meaning, if a man said he's trans, whatever, and he became a woman, well, that's still a man because he has man knees, man elbows, man eyes, man ears, man feet, and man hands, and you can't tell me that ain't a man. I'm sorry. You can think what you want to, but when people do the extreme, that's when y'all get upset in that conversation. Because now it's about what you think about yourself. It's not about what truly is. It's about what you think about yourself. So you can think you're a duck. You can quack everywhere you go. You can decide to swim and paddle everywhere you go. You can actually staple or have feathers put on your body. But you still gonna have human feet. You still gonna have human knees. You're gonna have human legs. You're gonna have a human back, a human front. Come on, man. And that's the part of it. I'm just being logical, and I don't want to get into the dispute of logics because over the past few years, we've been stretching logic. We've been stretching logic. We've been deciding to go against what we know makes sense and making it acceptable. And Obama, contributed to that. And MTV was at the forefront of it. So when you think about who's running MTV, it's the same people that Kanye West can't mention in his conversation. Why would that community choose to support that mental behavior unless they saw it as beneficial? Hey, let's add something else to confuse the people. Let's legitimize this ignorance. I'm sorry, I know y'all gonna hate me for that, but when I think about saying that I'm something that I clearly am not, and then asking you, a logical, sane person, to believe me, it's crazy. That's right, Rubio. And that's the bizarro that we're living in right now, and it's the most challenging and most perplexing thing I've ever been a part of. And it's hard because they're making what is the quote from Malcolm X? He said if you pay attention, the news and the rhetoric from the newspapers and TVs will have you thinking that the villain is the good guy. Lyra said, learning to give up bitterness and unforgiveness heals the liver also. That's what's up. I believe you. Your frequency has to change. You got to tell your body all positive things and move in a positive light. People still have the blindfolds on. They do. And that's why it requires conversations. But again, just like I go back to this ignorance of the governor of California. They are trying to make those stupid laws stick. Do you know how much dope information has to be out there for people to want to rewrite history? Do you know how powerful history must be? And why we should all be seeking it more effectively all the time? Isn't it? Isn't it? Capadonna, you're absolutely right. Probably catching the very end, but Coffee, you missed out. Like it is the absolute end. I went a little bit longer than normal because the conversation is really, it's an ongoing conversation. I can already see I'm not going to be able to have this conversation once. I'm not going to be able to entertain these subject matters just once. Yeah. Yep. Did Bella? She said women lie, DNA doesn't. Believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. Or it's one of those ways, half of what you hear and none of what you see. Yep. Yeah, man. Listen, this is an ongoing conversation. If you're not following me, you should be following me. Turn on notifications to always. I usually try to show up at 9 a.m. I'm still reeling from my trip in Vegas, so I'm trying to get back on track to getting back to my early schedule. But usually I'm on from 9 to 11. I'm just trying to get back in place after going to Vegas and partying. I don't know if y'all saw your boy on TMZ. I was on TMZ kicking it with Usher or whatnot on stage. He invited his friends up, and we came up and kicked it with him during the show on his Friday night show. The night that Anita Baker was there. Make sure you're following me, but hit the notification button. And listen, as a safety measure, make sure you're following and subscribing to me on YouTube, which is now that's another thing. The same name I use on Instagram, the same name I use on TikTok is the same name now that I use on YouTube. So my brand is Dwight_Scrap_Reynolds. And if you follow on those, this conversation is easier to swallow on YouTube. And what I mean by that is I don't save the conversations on Instagram. They just be playing games between the Facebook algorithm and what they say I can say and what I can't say. I don't even give them an opportunity to report me or to have an ill will or ill feeling about it. I just delete it when it's done. On TikTok, they don't give me so much drama because they only save it as a replay for functionality for my purposes. And so in that, I've circumvented that process by being live on YouTube, which they have some leniency that I can appreciate in terms of the freedom, the freedom that I'm able to have. So I've been able to have these conversations with you guys and be as free speaking as I can be without a lot of backlash by not allowing the material on Instagram is the main one. Instagram is the one who is censoring most people and red flagging their accounts. So I just delete it. It's like a fart in the wind. If they want to bring it up, it'd be like, I didn't post it. So it's not there for anybody to regurgitate you. And you'd have to have been in the live and recording it yourself to take it. That's what's up, Coffee. She was amazing. Strong hands too. She was amazing. She gives great hugs. We will in the future, Everett. As you see right now, I'm kind of winding down. Yeah, I thought about that too, Tashi, as joining the Patreon community. I may do that. Yeah, Teray, we're gonna have to have it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta have it because the extension on this conversation is huge. And I can appreciate, again, I really do appreciate the fact that Kanye West brought this up to our attention and is putting things out there. But I really, really, really wish we'd understand how to support those who put their necks on the line for us. And they don't have to. Y'all do understand that most of the times nobody has to do what they're doing. Alexa, show me front door. Nobody has to do that. Y'all do understand Kaepernick didn't have to do that. Anybody in my front door? Kaepernick didn't have to do it. He didn't have to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's those kind of things. What Zoom calls for the amount of people that we'd have to have it with, they cost. And as you can see, we didn't meet our live goal, and then nobody, I don't think I got a Cash App. I didn't look. Normally they come up and say somebody cash app you or whatever, but those are the things that I use those expenses for. Like when you guys want to do different things like that, or to create things like the emoticons, I hire graphics people to do stuff like that, but I'm not spending out of my pocket to do it. I'm only using the support that you guys give me to do it. So it's one of those things, man. We have to appreciate those people that are out there doing that. You know what I mean? And I didn't know I would get this kind of support, which I'm excited about. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Capadonna. We can't speak freely without the fear of some sort of negative outcome. And it makes you have to reevaluate what freedom really is. It makes you reevaluate that, are they changing? Is the Constitution a case-by-case situation? And we should do that. I'm out of the A, homie. You know what? I think that in the future, sometime this week, let's review the Constitution and let's talk about it and its implication today. Because we have to understand, the question is, should the Constitution, I need to write that down. Should the Constitution be rewritten? How many of y'all think the Constitution should be rewritten? Or how many of y'all think the Constitution is fine as is? Does anybody think the Constitution should be rewritten? Hey, Paula, I appreciate that. Paula just cash apped. I thank you so much. Constitution rewritten. How many of y'all believe that? The Vatican, District of Columbia, yep. That's crazy, right? Capadonna, ain't that crazy that people don't understand that we don't own DC? Somebody said, no, Republicans should learn to read. It should be enforced. Okay. Okay, so for those of you, I'm going to stay on a little bit longer. For those of you who said that it should be enforced, they are enforcing a document that was written before black people were considered whole. You do know at the time it was written, we were considered 2/3 a human being. So I'll ask you again, do you think it should be rewritten, knowing that it was not written with you as a person of color? If you're a person of color, it was not written with you in mind. And if you are not a person of color, how do you feel about a law or this Constitution that was written that didn't have the people that you associate with, or if you care about black people or brown people, that it didn't have them considered? Yeah, Rubio, if you're talking about in Chicago where they're about to start dumbing down the felonies out there, yeah. Yep, the District of Columbia has their own laws. Tavis said that was the Supreme Court. What are you talking about? Still giving tribute to England. Yes, revamped to include Earthlings. You understand? Like, y'all do understand that, like, for me, the Constitution, we need to go through it, and that's what we'll do, man. I'm gonna look it up, and I'll have it present, and we're gonna talk about the Constitution, right? Because the one that Kanye West, and here was my gripe with Kanye when he talked about the 13th Amendment. I believe he was in a conversation with one of his right-hand men. I can't think of his name right now. It's one of his homeboys who is very rooted in, he's rooted in it. Teray, I appreciate you. Teray just cash app. Thank you so much. He's rooted in the struggle, and the conversation didn't get all the way through. You know what I mean? It didn't get all the way through. And like Kanye did what I think Kanye did was he listened and he interpreted what he interpreted, and then he went out and he spoke about it. And in Donald Trump fashion, he got reprimanded from it. Y'all do know, like, people clown the hell out of him, but he was on track. And that was, and then I had to take a defensive position there as well. I had to say, this is what he meant. He meant that you are still a slave. Like, I could just go through all the comments that he said. I don't know about ending the government. But you know, at that point, I think it's gonna be way difficult. Yeah, it's gonna be way difficult to rebuild it. But he made a statement saying that, you know, we were slaves, and you are. If you read the 13th Amendment, it says that it's supposed to be the Emancipation Proclamation. It's supposed to be one of the most exciting times for people of color. Yeah, I know what you meant. It's supposed to be the most exciting time for people of color. Instead, it was a backhand slap. It said, yeah, you free till you fuck up. Excuse my language. Yeah, you free until you do something wrong. What up, sweetest? And what happened is, immediately after that breakthrough, what did they do? They inserted Jim Crow laws. What did that do? That made the smallest of crimes, and we're still dealing with the effects of Jim Crow. The smallest of crimes for black people were amplified. Why? Because they made them a part of the prison workforce. Y'all do so y'all understand that it's never been let go of. It's never been let go of. It never got amended. It never got the benefit it was supposed to get. It never did the fullness of what it should have done. That's the problem. It never did what it was supposed to do on the front side of it. Like immediately, it's like people ran out of the room, you know, when they said, hey, we're gonna give y'all $1 million. And then you run out of the room and tell everybody, they're gonna give us $1 million. And then they say, if you sell your soul to us. Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Y'all didn't really do it. Okay. That's what I said, Tashi. I said we still are reeling from the effects of Jim Crow. The disproportionate sentencing is a function of Jim Crow. If it's still available, you guys have to go watch the Netflix movie. And I'm sure that's what Kanye watched as well. There's a Netflix documentary called 13th. It's one of the most powerful piss you off documentaries you're going to watch. It's going to piss you straight off. If you want to be mad about the state of it, shows you the path to where we're at. Like, I swear to you, I was mad watching this thing. I watched the whole thing. It pissed me off to no avail. It's about the 13th Amendment. But it also talks about Jim Crow. It talks about where we're heading. It talks about all the corporations that were involved and are involved. It talks about when Obama, okay, so Obama did something when he changed the marijuana laws, kind of like what Biden is doing right now. Biden is taking a page out of what's name, but he changed the marijuana laws. In changing the marijuana laws, everybody knows a majority of black people, not majority, a lot of black people smoke marijuana. A lot of black people got caught up in getting convicted of small bags of weed or whatever, but they're in jail for a long prison term for weed, which is now legal in almost half of America. But they are in jail still serving sentences for weed. And in the documentary, it tells you how one of the Alabama prisons had to shut down. They have a conversation with the prison person and the governor of that state saying, hey, I got to shut down my privatized prison because, all right, Rubio, because there are not enough inmates to fill it and do the work. I can't meet my quotas. What? How does a prison have a quota? Oh, because they're doing deals with the Walmarts, the Sears, the JCPenney's, all these different places. They got deals set up in place for the labor. Guess how much it cost them? Little to nothing for these people to make chairs, license plates, to make all these different. Y'all think they give wood shop a whole new meaning? Because they're building things that are going out for sale that they receive none of the benefit from because they are prisoners. Yep, $1. They don't make any money for the craftsmanship and for the work that they do while serving their sentence. They don't even get time off. They don't get a release on time. They don't get a shortened sentence. Most of them, if they had it their way, they would make everybody serve their full sentence. $5 a month. Capadonna is telling you. Capadonna had to do 7 years off some BS, but he's telling you right now, $5 a month. Come on, man. Yeah, it's not prisons. I don't even know if we can call them livestock, although I think there's a word in there that you know, what's the word? It's not it starts with an N. It's like an in something servant. I forget the name of the words. You know what I mean? And we can't get on that, Red Baby. We can't talk about pedophiles and we can't talk about the disproportionate treatment because we have to talk about the kid that was found raping a young lady, and he got off because the judge said we don't want to send indentured servant. There you go, Capadonna. They said they don't want to send him to prison because it would ruin his future. Do y'all hear what I just said? That a judge let a getting caught in the act rapist go free. Gave him like community service or something. On Netflix, look up 13. I think it's just the number 13. It's a documentary, and it is going if you're a person of color, it's going to, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna piss you off. If you're not a person of color, it's going to enlighten you in such a way that you're going to understand the plight of those people, of people of color, and help you understand that there has been an agenda and still an agenda on it. So you have to look at that. Yep. Okay. So yeah, Trina said it's still there. You got to watch it. It's called The Water. Something else. I have to watch that. What is that about? The reason why it's still on Netflix is because it's such a huge, impactful documentary. I'm not sure, Toya. I haven't watched it in quite a while, and I really only watched it that once because it really, really pissed me off, and it made me feel like. Let me tell you, it made me feel helpless, and that was another reason why I didn't want to watch it again. Like, the worst feeling that any man can ever have on this earth is feeling helpless, like there's nothing you can do. And so I ran from that feeling. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to make sure that I didn't. Tavis, you know how I made you feel, like as a man, like, and I can imagine. So when you have a person like Kanye West who has influence and money, and you watch a documentary like 13th, man, you feel like, yo, what am I doing this for? You know what I'm saying? You be like, what am I doing? Like, where, how am I, with all this, I have nothing, and it can all be taken away. And this is going to continue to affect my people. Yep. And that's what I think that's what we're hearing is not only this, y'all, I mean, we don't recognize somebody crying out for change until they're gone. Like, we don't move correctly until after those people are gone, yo. We don't protect. Like, as much as we used to be protectors, we don't protect. I'm sorry. We don't protect each other. We damn sure don't protect black women who should be at the top of the list. They're the ones who carry the burden more so than we do. And we don't protect them like we should. We don't protect our community, the spaces and places that they've put us in, that we can't escape, that we have to live in. Like, we don't protect our kids. And when we talk about protecting our kids, it's what they watch, what they're entertained by, who they're around, what they're consuming, what they're going to regurgitate. We don't offer the kind of protection that we used to, for fear of being reprimanded or fear of punishment. Capadonna, that's our job. Cap said we need to have a CIA that's for kids or FBI protecting women. That's our job in the community. How are we going to ask somebody else to do our job and we ain't even doing our part? Like, that's the part that makes me the most maddest, is that we keep looking we keep looking outside of ourselves to do what needs to happen. And nobody, I said this in our consistency and sacrifice conversation, nobody wants to sacrifice. We always in fear, River, because we know what the opposition is capable of. And everybody wants to live a long life. And that may not, that doesn't even seem realistic, because even they know that living a long life isn't going to make change. You know how they know that? You know how the government understands that? Because they put kids on the front lines regularly. They take kids, ambitious kids, and throw their lives into harm's way. Think about that. If they're willing to sacrifice for the changes and adjustments they want to make in this world, What makes you think that you don't have to? That makes you think that we don't have to. That's right, River. The investment that they're making is into maintaining, River. They don't have to make an adjustment. They just have to protect what they've already taken. It's not what you can get, it's how long you can keep it. That's what we're dealing with. Like, everybody knows this whole way of being is unsustainable. Like, this don't work. So try whatever you can to slow it down. Try whatever you can to stop it. Try whatever you can to make the numbers. You understand? That's what's up, Timothy. Thank you for your service, bro. I couldn't do it. My brothers and cousins and all them, they went. I couldn't do it. I can't. I don't do well with somebody telling me how to do something, and if I find a better way to do it, it still gets looked over. No, nobody's look. We don't prepare. We respond. We don't prepare, River. We don't act. We react. That's what goes on with us. We don't act. We react. I hope that works. Not hope. Will, that's gonna go through, because the nonsense has to stop. And I think that's what we're watching with Kanye, is we're watching Kanye act. And you're getting an opportunity to see the reactions. That's right, Cap. It's what they do. And here's the thing. What we've learned is, yes, you have to have people who are going to sacrifice themselves. Demarian said, what is your degree in? Man, life. Life has been my degree. It's the greatest school I've ever been to. It's taught me so much. I've learned so many different things. I've been able to explore all the passions, and I've been able to examine everything unencumbered with little to no direction from anyone. It has allowed me to see things that I normally wouldn't see in a textbook. It allows me to search out the information. It's one of the greatest schools I've ever been to. I'm excited. You too can go to my university. It costs you nothing except for sacrifice, some blood and some tears, some hard lessons, some setbacks, some achievements. Tricks of the trade. Y'all should be writing this stuff down. Tricks of the trade on YouTube. The trade, YouTube. And then The Waters was another one I saw. Yeah, I mean, we show up every day, man. And that's what it is, right? It's a matter of being in these situations where we're having a conversation that might change somebody's situation. My life experiences, man, I've been very blessed to have experienced a wonderful childhood. And I've experienced life being able to understand it and seek that information. You know what I'm saying? A degree gives you no expertise unless you specialize in something after undergrad. And all I say is, why do we have to wait for somebody to go to college to be a specialist? If your kid or your family member at a young age is displaying an interest there, they can become a specialist at that. You don't have to have a degree to do research and find out the true way of living. Most of the billionaires out there don't have degrees. What are we saying? Or they get honorary degrees. If you get hung up, tell them to ask Dave. I'll let them know. That's what's up. Consumers and producers, what are their jobs? Exactly. Giving millionaires our money. Read, please. Tavis, I don't know if that's entirely true. And I'll watch that, Timothy. Yeah. Most jobs. So here's the logic, right? You can either get a job where they have a defined, a defined way of obtaining it, or you can create the job you want. Period. Demarian says she got a master's and it didn't do much. I understand, man. I'm from the school of I'm gonna create the opportunities I want in life, and I have. You know what I'm saying? And I can sit down at a table with millionaires and billionaires, and I have, and giving them a different perspective, because that's all it's about. It's funny, man. The one time I went for a job, like a career job, I went in and I asked for everything, and they looked at me like I was crazy. And I said, that's what my value is. Now, at least you know where my starting point was. Meet me somewhere near there, and I'll work for you. But until then, I'm cool. A lot of y'all are afraid to ask for or go after what you want. Some of y'all are in positions and haven't even asked for a raise. Some of y'all have not even decided that the potential or the time that you're there makes a difference. There's a thing I watched. I mentioned this before. This guy it was really, really cool talking about the your time. You do understand that you guys are, if you have a 9 to 5, you are selling your time. You're selling your time, and whatever your career is, whatever you get paid for, that's how much your time is worth. Now, I'm giving y'all my time freely. It's kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? Every now and again, like a couple people like Teray and let me not forget. Let me see if I can see it from here. Teray and I don't want to not mention. How do I see it without messing that up? Well, 2 people cash at me, and that is a benefit in terms of valuing my time. And I understand that this is a free format. So I get on here and I give freely, right? With no expectation of anything. And it's super cool when somebody does that, values my time. It's super cool when y'all hit the like button. It's super cool when y'all share the room and those metrics and whatnot. It's super cool when y'all buy the gifts and all those kind of things and help reach those. Those are small. They're not life-changing in any way, but they do show the appreciation. Yeah, that was you, Damari. Yeah, I appreciate that. Those are the things that, you know, are like super duper cool. When y'all buy badges on Instagram, when y'all do the super likes and super shit, those are cool. You know what I'm saying? But we talk about the value of your time. I know that the value of my time will never, ever be completed on a platform like this. It would have to be on a platform like YouTube. And then at that point, I'd have to have so many subscribers chipping in that then it would make sense. Like, you know whose time is really, really valued? It's a guy on YouTube called, yeah, there are 5 things more important than 100 million. But there's a guy on YouTube named Mr. Beast. And his time and value are so great that he was able to turn down $1 billion. Oh, that's what's up, Demarion. He was able to turn down $1 billion acquisition because he knew his value and his time and what he brought to the table. So we got to consider that when we're in those positions. It doesn't take me to have a degree to earn a 6, 7, 8. Shoot, there are some Uber drivers that are making $80,000, $90,000 a year. You know what I'm saying? What up, B Alpha? There are people who have a different metric associated with their time and whatnot. But when I go back and I think about the topic of the day and think about Kanye West and what he's saying, I do know that he is jeopardizing his income. Yep, there you go. Provoking their listeners to think. And that's all I really want to do when I get on this platform. I want to give you guys some things like, some healthy benefits for your body, some healthy benefits for your mind, something to fill your spirit, and ultimately give you a great bite to eat that you may take it with you and share. This conversation, and when we get on these lives, it's not completely I'm sorry, y'all, it's not just for you. When I go live, I really hope y'all take this stuff with y'all. How about Kanye's racism? It's impossible for a person of color to have us to be racist. Just so you understand, it requires power, and we have none in this country. So, yeah, that's not that doesn't work. You know, as a statement. You know what I'm saying? So, so we don't ever have to discuss or get into that discussion, because that is the truth of the matter. Is it's impossible. As much as people want to accuse black people of being racist, it's impossible. Nah, he isn't racist against Jews. He's merely stating a fact. Remember, if you listen to the interview, Tavis, he said he wished that our community was more like theirs. No. That's not where he was going with that. Actually, he was saying that they're, the way they moved and the way they communicated. But he also said that we are the real Jews. You know what I mean? Like, please, let's not take people's conversation out of context to fit the narrative that you want it to fit. But he talks about how their community is set up. Yeah, he wasn't racist. Again, you got to listen to what he's saying. We can't say that, Demarion, because he's dated black chicks before. Like one of his first girlfriends. What are you saying? Exactly, Toya. That's what I said earlier, Toya. I said, look at the condition of America. You know what I'm saying? And if somebody thinks that it's fine, then those are the people that you should have a problem with. Tricks of the Trade, that was on YouTube, and then the Waters, Waters. But it's impossible for people of color to be. It requires power and superiority, and we don't have that. The Jewish community has it. You know what I mean? No, I don't think she hates. I think that what Candace is dealing with is, again, when I talk to y'all about access. I think that what she hates is the narrative that our community, the black community, has taken a stance blindly. Like they've decided to fly on one side of the bird and have not looked at the wholeness of the bird itself. And so she has to position herself in a way that opposes the narrative that, I can tell you, most black people vote Democrat just because they think it's a black wing. Yep. Now that's a better one. I would rather see Candace Owens run as a black VP to Trump, as their views are aligned and she's very well spoken and knows her stuff. Yeah, she really thorough. Like, y'all tripping, man. That part. Damn, Everett. Woo. The machine is running perfectly. Just a few rumblings from the oil pan. Wow. When we talk about how they may discuss us. Wow. Nah, Stormy. See, there you go with that dismissive statement, man. You can't call them crazy just because their level of understanding is greater than yours. That's when you just sit back and be quiet and listen. Trump isn't racist. You got to know that, bro. Tavis, he said that he'd have to behave this way in order to become president. He said that while he was, quote unquote, a Democrat. He said that as it's on record. And he said he'd have to be a Republican in order to become president. And he did just that. Most of these people are Trump's first wife was black. I mean, I'm just telling you, he's not you know what I'm saying? Anyway, I don't know if he's a proven racist. He isn't responsible. Who's a bigger racist, Biden or Trump? How about that? Yeah, Cap. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's impossible, which it is impossible for black people to be racist. You know what I mean? Who's the bigger racist? Demarion said Trump is. Randy says Biden is. Who's the biggest racist, y'all? Trump or Biden? This will give me a whole understanding of who I'm dealing with. That ain't answer the question, Tavis. Who's the biggest racist? No, I'm saying who's the biggest, Eris? Yep, Robert Byrd. We ain't gonna talk about that though. Let's not even get into that, Randy. Let's keep going. I just need to know who. That. Thank you so much, Eris. Yep. Thank you, Randy. So if anybody understands how things work, you do all understand. I like that. Trump is an opportunist. I like that more than anything. Alexis on YouTube, she said Biden is a bigger racist. You're absolutely right. I want y'all to understand, if anybody within the sound of my voice can understand, that Biden is the bigger of the two racists. Let me help you understand. And I'm gonna leave y'all with this one because y'all the conversation is so good. I hate to leave. Let me leave y'all with this. Trump, his racism could only extend itself to those within his reach, which would be, if he was racist, it'd be against employees. That's it. Only people he could have affected. Biden, on the other hand, who served what? 20, 30, 40 years. 40 years as a senator, and actually got on the mic and was spitting the rhetoric that was going to harm black people. What? Y'all do know that politicians are bigger racists than individuals. Y'all do understand that, right? I want y'all to understand that Trump could only affect a handful of people. And he didn't affect a handful of people during his presidency. Trump didn't create any laws that were disproportionate against black people. If he did, can one of y'all tell me? I'd like to hear one of those laws that Trump made that affected me as a black man in America. I need to know, please. Can anybody give me that? What was the law that Trump created that affected black people? Okay, we're going to go past that. Then let's go back to Biden. Y'all do know Biden was spearheading a lot of anti-black conversation and rhetoric during his Senate run, which was, like I said, 20, 30 years. 20, 30 years of saying niggas ain't, excuse my language, saying black people ain't, you know what I'm saying? Come on, man. I said, do you want to choose the evil? That's right. But Biden put the Mass Incarceration Acts in place. Thank you. You can't discriminate, Randy. You have to be in a certain position. Well, yeah, you can discriminate. But you can't be a racist. You can discriminate. Trump funded Jesse Jackson to run. I'm just saying that Tavis, that can't be called, that's discrimination, but it's not racist. Do you understand there's a difference? This is where we got to clear things up. You can discriminate against anybody you want. Whether it's right or wrong is a whole other thing. A racist affects many. You can have a racist point of view, but you ain't racist because you don't affect everybody. Biden affected the laws that some of us are still being prosecuted by. Come on, man. Man, if y'all don't get that part. Yeah, this is why people are, listen, he should have never assumed the position he's in. We're all guilty for voting him in. It shouldn't even been close. But the fact that we don't have enough informed people because we don't have the opportunity to say it on a loud broadcast, because people would know how to highlight, because there's a such thing as marketing, because there's a such thing as manipulation, because there's a such thing as creating the narrative, you know? That's why we're dealing with that. Jamie, who didn't you vote? Jamie said she didn't vote him in. Who you didn't vote for? I'm going to tell y'all, I didn't even accidentally, I folded under peer pressure. I said, okay, all my people, everybody around me was saying, yo, you should do this with Biden, man. Biden going to do right. Biden going to get us da-da-da. And all my instincts was telling me is that's the BS. But I voted for him anyway, and I wish I had it back. Who we talking about, Jamie? Which president we talking about? I went against it, but I won't do it again. It's the one, if there was a, yeah, I did and I shouldn't have, Jamie. I promise you I shouldn't have. I promise you I shouldn't have. Listen, none of these, you know, we don't get the opportunity of we the people. Nah, Stormy, but not by far. Stormy said Biden was the lesser of two evils. You are madly mistaken. Look at the state of the country right now. That should be an indicator. You can't even lean towards that. You can't even lean towards that. Like if you look at things, I've been voting Green Party for years trying to get them to 5%. Yeah. His 50-year history has no successes benefiting the American people. Period, Randy. That's all I'm saying. We voted for an evil that we had listen, you vote for the evil you know or the evil you don't. We had no idea of the idiot that we had no idea of the idiocy of the person that we put in control right now. But we should have known the minute they combined the two. I said this, yep. His background, you know what they preyed on, Everett? They preyed on our short-term memory. If 5% would vote for the Green Party, they qualify as a legit party and get more funding. There you go, y'all. If y'all want an alternative to the rhetoric of Republican Democrat, you got the Green Party, but they're going to need y'all vote in order to get them even able to be on the ballot and get more funding. But that like man, if we don't think about that stuff, man, it's yes, Stormy, where have you been? He wasn't a tyrant. Yes, he was a tyrant. And he was a tyrant dealing with other tyrants. Now, what if let me go back to Stormy's comment. If Trump was a tyrant, what is Biden? If Trump was a tyrant, Stormy, what is Biden? Stormy, answer my question. Or I be wanting to be my street self and be like, yo, man, if you don't answer, I'm gonna put you out the room. But if Trump was a tyrant, what was Biden? What is Biden? I need to hear the answer to that. No, he can call him a tyrant. I need him to call him a tyrant. I need him to say that Trump was so far away from where Biden is. What is Biden then? Come on, man, Stormy. Don't get all quiet. You was just finger jocking just a minute ago. Come on. Trump was a tyrant. What is Biden? No, don't say he's evil just like Trump, because they're two different things. You can't do that. You can't say they're one and the same, but yet out one another. What is Biden, bro? Come on, man. If Trump is a tyrant, what is Biden? Can Biden be considered a tyrant? Because you said they're the same. True story, Toya. But I need him to say this. I need to help y'all understand these are the things that I trip off of. Y'all do know that, and to Jamie's point, Jamie said, peep the gas prices and war we entered when Biden came in. Trump said it. Trump said, yo, y'all gonna put this dude in office and all the prices are gonna go up and we're gonna enter into all these wars that I kept at bay. Come on, man. Stormy won't answer my question. I'm feeling some kind of way. Yes, he is, Venus. He is a liar. Yep, they lose. I just need him to say what it is, because you can't say one is one and then not talk about what the other one is. Because there's so much to be said about this president. There's so much to be said about this president, and it irks me to no end when when you don't recognize it. Under Trump, who I didn't vote for, was better than Biden economically. Boom. That shouldn't even be up for dispute. Yes, Everett, two pair of shoes made by the same company, but the fit is different. How about that? That's what Kanye was arguing about with Adidas. Adidas tried to make a shoe that was almost like his Yeezys. So Smokey doesn't want to answer, but I'll help y'all out, right? You need a tyrant to deal with tyrants. We was dealing with Kim Jong-un and we were dealing with Putin, all who have been labeled tyrants. So what are we gonna do? Bring a poodle to a pit bull fight? That's what you want us to do? That's what y'all are saying. That's what we effectively did. We effectively brought a poodle to a pit bull fight, and we're complaining that our poodle won't even bite back. Come on, man. I'm not pro-Trump, but he has been the biggest dog we've had in the office since Reagan. And I didn't like Reagan either. Y'all do understand that you need Trump back in office. Yep, Pamela, you need Trump back in office. And I'm sorry y'all don't agree with me, but y'all don't understand. I'm just going to leave it to your lack of understanding. He didn't side with Putin, Stormy. He kept Putin at bay. Don't you get it? Keep your enemies closer. You ain't never heard that? Trump in office would not be the worst thing ever, Demaria, because he is holding people accountable. You got countries, and my Dark Flint Town Gus said you must have lost your mind. I haven't. I'm just aware and I'm looking at things with a peripheral point of view. Y'all can look at it narrow-minded. You can look at it straight on and say that you know what it is. But y'all, I would tell you, move away from the elephant. You are standing too close to it. You can't see the big picture. And I don't fault you for that, but I need you to be open-minded when you join my live so you can see things better. You need Trump back in office because he's going to be the pit bull that puts everything straight. And we have to understand, we have to figure out how, the challenge for him now is how far away he is from it. Do your fans know that Biden just bought $290 million in anti-radiation drugs to prep for nuclear war? Yeah, I saw that. Did anybody else see that? No. So Stormy, you don't get to join the conversation, Stormy, because you couldn't even differentiate what Trump being a tyrant and what Biden was. Like, if you can't make that differentiation, you can't talk to me because you don't want to have a legitimate conversation where I ask you questions, you ask me questions. If you guys search it on Google, y'all will see it. I saw it too, Jamie. I was like, what is all these radiation pills? What's that conversation for? You not ignore Savannah, I'm sorry. Let me go back up. Scrap, you're talking from a well-connected and wealthy space. Trump wasn't good for tell me what president has been good, Savannah, for the lower class. Let's start there. What president has been good for the lower class? What up, Jazzy? Jazzy Faye, question for you. Who's a better president, Trump or Biden? Yeah, Red Baby says she liked Reagan. Yeah, because he did some things. Reagan wasn't no punk. He threw some salt in the game too, and which is what you have to understand, that no president has openly come out and stood up for black people in America. So he wasn't going to be the first, and we all had an assumption that Obama would, but he didn't. Man, that Affordable Care Act was a trick. Tavis, it still don't work. What are you talking about? People still complaining. That's right, Toya, none of them. Not one of them. Yeah, we about to be at war. At a time when Trump was keeping all these people at bay, but y'all saying that, come on, man, y'all ain't got your eyes open. And I can't even, you know, I can't even go there. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not paying attention to that, this is what they do, Savannah. There's no president that has presented a law or something that got the green light off rip. They all try to undermine. And if it was going to work, he said, oh, Biden is who we thought we was. Exactly. Jazzy Faye said, oh, Biden. Like, we thought that he would have carried the torch or done something different or better than Obama did, but he didn't. And we should have known that, Jazzy, from the simple fact that they did this. Listen, we watched Kamala and Biden argue like cats and dogs during their debates. And they all said truthful, honest, hurtful things about one another. And then they preyed on our short-term memory that we would forget and join forces. I didn't forget. I was like, man, this girl just called his new, you know what I'm saying? Did y'all hear what she said about him? Do you hear what he said about her? And then they got together and formed a superpower of dumbness. Come on, man. Yeah, true story, Gus. I want Trump to run, but he probably won't get the chance again. Right, Red Baby. And that's what they're trying to ensure, is because, listen, they can't control Trump. I love it because Trump was never a politician. Let's go there. Let's just start there. He was not, and see, Savannah said Obama admits he stumbled economically. Excuse me. And that's right. People are lazy group thinkers. Jamie said it best. Jamie, I'm praying for y'all out in California. I hope y'all get that together, man. How is the backyard of the Black Panthers going to allow that governor to do and say that dumb stuff? Scrap, please have one verbal con. I don't know where we're going with that. Biden is, well, they're all puppets, beautifully. They're all puppets, right? It's who's pulling the strings and how hard it is to pull the strings. I think it was hard. Trump has never been a politician. Trump does not have years of oppression, of exacting laws, of putting stuff in there. Newsom is a puppet. He's a part of that whole thing. Trump is a businessman. Say it like it's meant to be said, beautifully broken. Trump is a businessman. And he's approached this thing completely on a business level. He tried to get everybody to stop during the pandemic. What did he say? People was like, yo, what's going on? What's going on? Trump said, stop listening to the news. And it took y'all all this time to stop doing it. Tell me, yep, people rely on CNN and Fox and all these different stations that are throwing y'all way off. He wasn't a terrible businessman for the country. He might be for himself, but he wasn't a terrible businessman for the country. We were in pretty much the best shape we're going to be in for the next 10 years should he not come back. You have to read the Associated Press and Al Jazeera in order to get the real news. Yep. That like man, I'm trying to y'all just need to look at it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got to put all these pieces together. There's the truth, and they add a little truth and a lot of everything else in all of it. Thank you, Stormy. He was a good businessman for the country. And okay, now Stormy has. I'm gonna let you bring yourself back into the conversation with that comment. Being good at business is the business of this country. Broken. I usually break that all the way down to television where you have to channel it and you're getting programmed. I break all that stuff down. But not in this conversation. Yeah, everybody was making money. And if y'all think the poor people under any of these administrations that's going to change, that's an individual thing, and you have to deal with your governor on that level. Y'all got to understand that when we talk about the discrepancy, who else? If this is a business, I'm going to just put it like this here, because people want to talk about the discrepancies between, the 1%ers and the 5% and all these different people, the middle class, lower class. If you have a group of people standing in front of you, the first people you're going to do is try. It is a hard job, Jamie. The first thing that you're going to do is try to help the people who already get it, because they can create wealth and opportunities for other people. Usually that 1%er up there, that group at the top, is already created jobs for thousands of people. How many jobs have the poor people created for poor people? Just out of curiosity. Anybody? How many jobs did Boulder Wino get you? I need to know if anybody can tell me how many jobs did the I'm sorry, y'all making me say it this way. How many jobs did has a broke person gotten you? Because y'all swear if they gave the money to the broke person that they would be able to change your situation. No, they support people. Who you gonna support? Jordan, or you gonna support the dude who riding the bench? Come on, man. Jordan make the most money because he's the one who's been helping the most. Y'all are tripping. Tripping. That's all I'm saying. Like, yeah, if y'all don't get it, man, if you believe that crap, Biden. So listen to this. This is Tavis. This is where you're going to really lose this is where you've lost the conversation for everybody. Tavis said Biden increased jobs by 8 million. This is when believing the rhetoric goes wrong. Mim says, love your mind and perspective. See you next time. Absolutely. This is where you've gone wrong, Tavis. He said Biden increased jobs by 8 million. Now tell me this. Can you believe that he increased jobs when they were closing businesses during the pandemic? How does that work? How do I lose a job, but you're increasing them? Oh, he increased them because people need jobs. But the premise of the pandemic wasn't real. Just so you understand. And you're right. He didn't want, the math ain't math, and this is all I'm saying. They had to show hiring, but we know people didn't do that. That's why all those people, listen, this is funny. Toshi said they got PPP and had to show hiring. They had to show hiring, but the fact that they created an agency, Jira, the fact that they created an agency to now police those people who took those PPP loans is evidence that it was corrupt. Listen, man, Tavis, every year, millions die from the flu. Come on, man. You need a better argument than that. The fact that you want to believe that COVID was responsible is crazy. If that was the case, it would have swept through the whole world like that, right? It would have swept through this whole nation like that, but it didn't. We didn't have crazy. No, the number, now that number has been decreased. See how it works? Now that number's decreased because they've added some sauce to it, bro. It used to be over 700,000 or some crazy number like that for the flu. But that was when they wanted you to take the flu vaccine. Would you be open to talking about Kanye West? I'm interested in your thoughts, especially since you have a working history with him in the music industry. I've been talking about him. Jira, you just got here. I've been on it. We've been on that. This whole conversation is about that. You don't have to believe it's all planned, Ush. It is planned. Thank you, Everett. That's all I'm saying. They drank the Kool-Aid, and now there's so much evidence of people who are now who this thing. I said this in 2020. I said, first off, I won't be participating in the nonsense. And in 2021, do you know that everybody in 2020 was a survivor? And then in 2021, there were casualties. Y'all understand that? In 2020, every last person on this live was a survivor. Everyone. No, not at all, Tavis. It's just that you don't get it, and this is above your pay grade. So I ain't even tripping. This level of understanding comes with really, really understanding, and you choose to hold on to it even when I've enlightened you on some different subjects. But you're gonna swear you're not enlightened because you're stone cold crusted in what you want to believe, and I'm cool with that because the room, the people that are in this live that are surrounding you are telling you different, and you still can't hear them. And I don't mind that. You can be an anomaly in this faction. I'm cool with that. But if you don't recognize that in 2020, every last person within the sound of my voice was a survivor. I understand, Tavis. That's cool. I'm glad you read books, bro. Reading and catching the understanding is two different things. What you interpret does matter. Clearly, you're reading and you're not getting the understanding. You need to go to church and you need to have the pastor break it down to you so you can understand better what you're reading. Because right now, again, like I said, the level of understanding isn't too high. Yeah, everybody, not just those who did and didn't take the concoction. Everybody is a survivor. Y'all do y'all recognize that? Do y'all know that everybody that you look at is a survivor? Now, how you survived past 2020 into 20, and once 21 came around, how you survived, to me, blew me away. People forgot that you survived through 2020 without any additional help from anyone from the outside. In 2020, every last one of us survived without any help from anybody else. 2020, there was no solution, but you survived. Some of y'all even caught it and survived in 2020. Come on, man. You survived 2020. I want y'all to understand that. You survived 2020 when there was no help, when there was no, God was the only help. And then in 2021, you decided that didn't mean anything to you. And that's what blew me away. I'm like, yo, I went through 2020, I was probably the most reckless person in 2020. You didn't catch me with a mask in 2020. You don't understand. I was outside. I was everywhere. And you know what I was telling people who was wearing masks? Thank you. You're wearing it for me. I ain't sick. That's right. Now, if y'all don't realize, y'all do realize, and Amelia's at the courthouse right now. She said, the idiocy of it all is there's still a mandatory mask mandate in this courthouse, period. No mask, you got to leave the building. Does that make sense? Come on, man. Everyone survived 2020 with no help, and then in 2021 they tried to seduce you into the help. Hey man, I'll give you a free ride if you just do this. Hey, I'll give you a free pizza if you do this. Hey, you'll be entered into a raffle if you do this. Come on, man. You ain't got to seduce people for stuff that works. I haven't had to seduce not a single follower on this platform for anything. And Everett, to your point. Now, let me bring this back to you, Jamie. On TikTok, Everett said, I know doctors that objected. Now, to Jamie's point, Jamie lives in California. In California, the doctors can no longer give alternate information than what they're spreading about it. Debbie, it ain't gonna never not be spread because people extended it by buying into the concoction. Do you know by the summer of 2020 the numbers were at their lowest and it was actually going away? Do y'all all remember? And none of y'all remember that? When the summer hit for 2020, we were at an all-time low and they started opening things back up. I mean, that's evidence of it. I ain't really got to, it ain't me. I'm not telling y'all that. I'm just telling y'all that evidence of things getting better was things opening back up. Just so y'all know. Hospitals, they still wear masks. But so y'all understand that we were at the lowest point we were ever going to be at. And then, I mean, just evidence of this. Let me go back to this. Let me tie this all back up in. Because, ooh, it's getting real good. And I know I'm going to have to leave it a minute. Check this out. Y'all do realize during the George Floyd march all over the world, guess what you didn't see? COVID. COVID was nowhere present. Remember, they kept trying to say, well, I can't wait to hear what the fallout is going to be from this. There was no fallout. There was no fallout. They can't. I could ask that question. Jamie said, listen, for all y'all that are tuned in live, what's the difference between COVID and the flu? And how do you determine which one you have? That's mainly for you, Tavis, because you seem to be on that, you know what I'm saying? Of course they did. They got to keep reinventing the strain, just like they did with the flu. Yep, that's right. That's right. I'm trying to help y'all understand, yo. No. I ain't say people didn't die, Tavis. I'm saying what happened to, listen, Tavis, what's the difference between COVID and the flu? Pink said COVID-19 is a super flu. So it's a flu. Okay. Yep. At the funeral, no mask. Yep. That's right, Tashi. You didn't hear about the flu in 2020. And I went and I searched up the numbers. And it was literally non-existent. If you can do this, for when y'all search, you got to put the year in. So put in 2019, you know, and what it was, and then put in 2020, and you'll see like it almost disappeared. Yep, pharmaceuticals need their money. To your point, Tavis, you have a flu shot. I've never taken a flu shot, nor have I ever caught the flu. But most people who have taken COVID shots have absolutely caught COVID. And some are dying from it. The shot, that is. But they said that beforehand, you know, because it wasn't proven that it worked. It was never meant to work. It was never meant to cure. It was always meant to cope. It was never a solution. It was a coping mechanism. It still is a coping mechanism. It can't, Jamie. Although you call it the super flu, how do you distinguish it? You all do know that they can't tell the difference, right? There is nothing that they can tell you that will tell you the difference from what version you have. How you know you got Omni versus the other one, the Delta or the original? They can't tell you. No test exists because it's all a farce in terms of it being the flu. Now, for Tavis's case, where he said millions of people died, those people were the same people who were compromised with other respiratory situations. They said it. Old age or comorbidities. What is yes, they can? Tell me how, Tavis. What test is that called? No, Pretty Pink. You probably never would have got it anyway. You're under the impression that everybody's going to get it. What about those people, Pretty, that's called asymptomatic? Remember that word they came up with? Pretty Pink said 4 shots and never had COVID. Good luck. I wish you the best. But why couldn't you be asymptomatic from the jump? Remember that word they threw out there, asymptomatic? Y'all remember that? Yep. Y'all watch the number, yeah, and it's already there. That's right. You never had COVID. Maybe you were asymptomatic, Pink. Do you know what that word means? Because they threw it around like it worked. If masks really worked the way you said they did, Tavis, wouldn't COVID be down too? Come on, man. Your logic ain't logicking, bro. That's right. Look up flu numbers and deaths. Yep, it was people with underlying conditions. Come on, man. Pretty Pinker, man. You're not making sense. That's what I believe in, that my body can handle anything. So, yep, truck driver never got it. Oh, man. And the fact that y'all believe that the CDC director came out and said 75% of people who died had at least 3 comorbidities. That's all I'm saying. Sometimes, Cookie, did you say he passed last year? What was the conditions? Did he take did the shot and all that? Let me see what the Stormy said. They not about to be pumping my body full of those unproven, Stormy. You got to add the word unproven. So tell me this. Pretty Pink, you said I wore a mask, isolated, had underlying conditions, 4 vaccines, and never got COVID. So you never got sick after none of your shots. That's right, beautifully. I'm telling you, that's a condition of it. Tell me, you never for Pink, you never got sick after any of your shots. Then I dare say to you that you got the placebo and you never got the real thing. Is there anybody else in who got the shot and didn't get sick? I'm just curious. Everyone I know that has gotten it was ill immediately afterwards and then got better. Yeah, but y'all know that's how the flu shot works, right? Y'all do know that's how the flu shot works. The influenza shot is they give you influenza to build the antibodies. So I dare say to you, young lady, you are probably asymptomatic or you probably are immune resistant to it. So Pink, you took those 4 shots for no reason. I'm just telling you. You would have never gotten it. So Dee Dee said she got the shot. So why do you not concede that you was probably that you're probably asymptomatic? Cases of diseases increasing. I don't know what he's talking about. His immune system was low. Okay, there it is. Yeah. No, I understand. Like some people had to take it just in case. I understand that. I understand that. But that's the part where yep, they did. They were giving placebos. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but holistic, you got to know that we are being experimented on. There's no way anybody can be that naive to say that we aren't guinea pigs for this whole experiment. And a lot of people made a lot of money not to say that. No shot, never had COVID, stay focused on it. Yep. I know, man. And let me tell you beautifully, I was one of those people who were saying that we need to stand on the front lines for those people who had to take the shots. That's what's up, McTire, Debbie. I felt like y'all not supposed to hear them. They're typing on TikTok, Mike, and on YouTube and a couple other different I told people that I was trying to get people to stand in the fold for those people that were being forced to do it. I was telling, and again, I don't my conversation, I just bring awareness is really what I like to do when it comes to situations like that. All I was saying is, why is it such a difficult thing for us to think about standing in the fold for those people who are being forced to do it? Why aren't we just walking off the job? Why aren't we all just staying still and saying, you know what? If you're forcing these people to do it, then you got to force people to work. You got to force people to do all these other different things. I really wanted people to just stand still while they try to get this dumbness pushed through. That Miss Mickey said, I was forced to take it or lose my job. And she said that she left it at that beginning and she ain't been back since. There's definitely something sinister going on, Toya, but it's in the division. And that's, again, if we take this thing all the way back to the beginning of this conversation, it's the division that they preyed on in our short-term memory. The division in our short-term memory is what they've been preying on. They pray that you forget how to take care of yourself. And so they implemented things that they thought should take care of you. They preyed on the fact that 2020 happened and you survived it without any help from anybody else, except for bad intel, bad information. You survived 2020 even when the hand was stacked. Yeah, and then for most, and that's the other part, Miss Mickey, I'm so, Mike said they couldn't do it at my job because the majority of black people didn't take that S, and the majority of my shop is black. We would have shut down the whole spot. And that's where we got to get back to when it comes to protesting and all those kind of things. Shut stuff down. Yep. And that's the case, Dee. And that's the part that I'm so disappointed that we don't know how to stand up for each other, man. That's the part that made me so mad, yo. Yep, government cheese and all that stuff come back. Don't think it ain't really went nowhere. It's just you've moved above that. That it's still, they still do that in the community, black community. I mean, that particular one doesn't make sense, Toya. I know some people, they made some people feel like you were helping out the wholeness, but there's a conversation I saw the other day about from Sweden, where they had a Pfizer representative on the stand, and they asked her, I want to watch it back. I just got to watch it back so I can just, I want to communicate it correctly, but y'all got to watch it. Corporate America, we had government contracts and they try to use that as an excuse for why it was necessary. Yep. I mean, and that's Tashi, I can't say that to people because people don't understand that. And then I wouldn't call it weakness. You know what I'm saying? Tashi said some so weak for a job that will replace you. I do want y'all to take that into consideration, that the minute you get sick for any amount of time, for any reason, that your job will then say to you, goodbye. They won't say, oh man, you sick. All right, we're going to hold this spot for you. They're not going to say, oh, let's extend your medical benefits. Let's do something that's going to work in your favor. They don't say that. They say, thanks for your service. Goodbye. And if they'll do that to you and your regular job, if they'll do that to Army veterans, people in the house that have put their blood and sweat and tears and their lives in danger, man, you ain't putting your life in danger. You just flipping some switches, typing in some words. You know what I'm saying? Be mindful who your loyalty is to. First should be to yourself. Unfortunately, everyone doesn't think like that. Yourself first, meaning I chose me when it came to how I was going to take care of myself when this whole thing happened. How am I going to take care of me? Okay, I'm good. Okay, now I can make sure. Listen, man, what did they tell you on the airplane? Should we lose pressure? What do they tell y'all to do? What will happen? A mask will drop down. What do they tell you to do? Place the mask over your face first. Put the mask over your face first. Then adjust others. Then you can help others around you. That's it in a nutshell. Too many of us don't understand how to take care of ourselves properly. And in that faction, I'll say maybe they were right. But when it comes to health, y'all know better. Y'all been sick before. This ain't y'all first time being sick. When we dealt with this thing in 2020, we were acting like babies that didn't know ourselves or know better. They taught you about a boogeyman. Yeah, I'm with that comedian. That comedian is everything right now. But we reverted back to childhood when it came to 2020. And they exploited our fear of death. But the power of life and death is in your tongue. So if they can get you to repeat that dumb rhetoric, if they can get you to repeat that feeling, if they can get you to keep spewing it out in the world, then guess what? Yeah, it's going to happen to you. I told myself the whole 2020, I'm not getting it. And then I did things to complement that. I started jogging. I started running. Wow, Sassy. She said a coworker passed at home and was replaced before her funeral. Man, y'all better be mindful who y'all loyalty is to, man. Yes, we're so indoctrinated that if and this is how I kind of treat everything from weight gaining to mindset, is that if it took you a lifetime to learn this stuff, it may take a lifetime to unlearn it, but you got to start. You got to start. You got to start. And if nobody's talking about it, how can you ever start? How can you shut down a spot that provides 40% of the company's profit revenue where the majority won't take it? Yep. No, they made provisions, got a temp scan every day. And that's okay. So let's go there. Mike, I appreciate that. Let's go there. Do y'all remember that before there was the availability of getting that concoction, that they sent kids back to school? Do y'all remember that? That they opened up businesses and jobs and all that. Do y'all remember that? Do y'all remember that they had a way to make the world work before that? So I said, why not continue with what you guys did in 2020 versus strong arming America in 2021? If y'all think this country loves you, you have lost your mind. You're a piece of the puzzle. You're a screw on the bolt of this money-making machine. And at some point, you have to decide, for sure, Debbie, I will, you have to decide what your function is going to be in this place and in this world. You know? That is that thing. That's that thing. Yes, but listen, Everett. Oh man, I was supposed to be off of here already like an hour and a half ago. What happened to? Yep, I'm trying to tell you, Sassy. They did scare tactics. They tried to fear you into it, then seduce you into it, and then they strong armed America. And I'm gonna leave y'all with this. Everett Knight said there are so many natural protective products to be taken without a prescription. Now I'm gonna leave y'all with that because y'all don't want to talk about all of the holistic teachers worldwide that were getting annihilated prior to this event. No, they can't do Ebola. It's too volatile. Tashi, they tried Ebola. Remember? The black guy died. The two white people got saved here in Atlanta. They tried Ebola. It's too volatile. And they have a cure for Ebola because the black guy died, but the two white people lived because they came to the CDC here in Atlanta and survived. We will continue this conversation. But I'm so off my schedule, man. I hope y'all appreciate it. Listen, y'all could run up the likes. Y'all could go back and watch these videos. Anything that y'all think y'all can do that's beneficial for the sacrifice of time and that I'll be making sometimes will be super, super dope. You know what I mean? I appreciate it all. Those of you who Cash App, man, I really appreciate y'all. Y'all don't have to do that. And I know that y'all are trying to, in the best way you can, show your appreciation for my time spent here. I appreciate that. I do. It does not go unnoticed. But y'all gotta, like, I'll get into it, man. But yo, y'all, I mean, it's hard because I know some people who defer in opinions. I know, I'm hoping that Tavis will come back because I like Tavis's his discourse. The Cash App is in my profile, so when you tap on to follow me, it'll show my Instagram and my YouTube or whatnot. I'm gonna have to go to the gym a little bit later. I went last night at like 2 a.m, Key, but I'm going. I'm always going. DJ Dub said scrap for president. That's funny. I just need I'm hoping that those people who had a discourse will come back because I think I like to communicate with those people. They open up another nuance of conversation. Mike, y'all got to show up a little bit earlier, man, because I appreciate y'all discourse because y'all added to the pot. Gus as well as everybody, Amelia, everybody who jumped in. You guys add so much to the conversation to help people understand. Like, this is, we all are concerned about this, but I don't think everybody. I've always been that guy who stood in front of other people when things were going down. If you ever, Crump was in here earlier. He can tell you about an instance. Although I don't approve it, there was an instance we were at a club and he did something and somebody tried to react and then I knocked that person out. Like, I'm that person. I'm the guy who kind of, I see the craziness about to happen and I just stand in the way. But yeah, we got to finish the Kanye interview and I'm not wearing contacts ever in life. No lenses de contacto, Capitano. But yeah, I want to make sure that, you guys show up and I provide y'all with these different perspectives. I'm not saying I'm right. I just want to give y'all something else to think about. But in the back of my mind, I'd be like, I'm right. And when people say that other crazy stuff, I'll be like,
it don't make no motherfucking sense.
That's all I want to say. For anybody out there who didn't have, what did Stormy say? I missed that. What Stormy said. No, that's funny. Yeah. No, man. It's all good. I know he was playing, you know what I'm saying? I always get that because as a black man with my complexion to have these colored eyes, it's always one of those things. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate y'all. Listen, like I said, if you want a Cash App, tap on my face right there where it says, or you can subscribe. But when you tap on that, then tap on my face again, I think, or something. It won't let me do it. But when you tap on it a second time, it pulls up the option to follow me on Instagram and to follow me on YouTube. But it also has the it's $TRXS now. I appreciate y'all. Dave's wife works for Pfizer and revenue was $32 billion. And in 2021, it was, man, hold that conversation. We're gonna definitely come back. They changed, so I don't know, Purple. But to leave y'all with this metric, there is Toya. Dave, my homeboy's wife, Cherie, works for Pfizer. And in 2018 and 19, they made $32 billion. In 2021, it was $81 billion. I actually think it's more than that, Mike, because I remember there was I'm thinking about a different Moderna or something like that, but the numbers were ridiculous across the board for all those people, those companies. I met him down here in Atlanta too before he left, bro. And we were the Green Eye Bandits. Like he even said it, yo. You know what I'm saying? He was down with it in the whole nine. And I went to the strip club with him, Redman, and Andre Rison for the first time when I was here. When I first got to Atlanta, we all went to it was called the Gold Club, and I watched these dudes spend $70,000 on chicks in a private room at the strip club. I mean, that's a whole nother conversation for another time. I want to appreciate everybody for showing up. Supermodel, you got to get here a little earlier, man. I've been on since 9:30 today, and we've had an amazing conversation. Yeah, for sure. They was all good people. We've been on since 9:30, and I've given you guys 3 hours of my time. I hope it's been beneficial, enlightening. I hope you had a good time, and I hope y'all understand that these are just my opinions and my perspective, albeit, I swear by them. You should do your own research. You should do your own investigative process. You should look into some of these things that we talked about and definitely watch some of those movies so that you can be more enlightened. I think that it's going to be amazing when you guys watch the 13 for sure. Watch the documentary 13. But we got Trials of the, what was that called? Trials of the Trees on YouTube, Tricks of the Trade on YouTube, and then The Waters on Netflix as well. I appreciate y'all. Cheryl, thank you so much. Thank you everybody who participated in this live, whether you shared the room, whether you hit the like button, whether you help with the live goal, whether you subscribe today, and whether you Cash App. Man, you guys are always here showing up and supporting, and I appreciate y'all for that. And this is never goodbye. This is always to be continued. I appreciate y'all. And hey, Scrap, did you know Chingy in the building? In the building where? Like Chingy was Tashi, I appreciate the Cash App. Chingy was my cousin Zoe and Sham discovered Chingy. Where's he at? Oh, I didn't know that. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. And you can't get back. Take care. Much love, Green Eyes. Oh, that's what's up. All right, y'all. Listen, man, I appreciate y'all for showing up. This is not goodbye. This is to be continued. And we're gonna get on it, y'all.